Chapter 35:55. Luli paid no attention to those sections. He chatted with the patriarch of the Celestial Emperor's sect for a bit, and then said to Hu Simeng with a smile, "Brother Hu, do you have a place to stay in the Celestial Emperor's city? I have nowhere to stay. Can I go to your place for a while?" "Welcome, welcome," Hu Simeng said with excitement. "Brother Lu, if you want to stay with us, we will welcome you with open arms. But our old manor, well, the new one has just been built. It is a bit shabby. If you don't mind, we will welcome you." "Really?" Luli could read between the lines. He asked with a frown, "Where's your old manor? I remember it was not destroyed in the last war." Well, Hu Simeng was embarrassed. He turned to the family patriarch of the Hu family, who shook his head, indicating that Hu Simeng should not talk nonsense. Luli saw this as well. He pulled a long face and snorted, "Brother Hu, don't worry. Tell me the truth. Where's your yard? Who took it? Tell me." Hu Simeng scratched his head in embarrassment. Under Li's aggressive stare, Hu Simeng made up his mind and said, "It was taken by the Sunlight sect. Luli, it is not a big deal. We are building a new manor. It'll be fine." "Sunlight sect?" Luli turned to the patriarch of the Celestial Emperor's sect and asked, "Patriarch Gui, what is going on? Can you give me an explanation?" Emperor Gui smiled apologetically and said, "It is not a big deal. Lu Huang, many sects have come to the Celestial Emperor's city, right? Some buildings in the Celestial Emperor's city were destroyed. Those sects are allies. So, I am sorry for the Hu family. Don't worry. We will make it up to you." "Don't worry," Li said coldly. "The Sunlight sect is impressive. Where's the master? Come out and let me have a look." Li glanced over. Many powerful warriors from different sects lowered their heads under his majestic eyes. Some warriors looked at an old man. That old man blushed. He forced a smile and said, "Lu Huang, we are not going to take the Hu family's house. We're just staying here for a while. All of our sect's experts have come all the way here for the sake of brotherhood. It's just a manor. There's no need to make it so serious." A young man next to the old man said with some dissatisfaction, "That's right. It's just a manor. What's so great about it? In our Guangyang city, what can we not have? We're giving them face by staying in their courtyard." Luli did not have a good temper. Given his current identity and status, even a warrior that was infinitely close to the consummate realm, let alone the master of the Sunlight sect, was nothing. How many Saint Emperors wanted to see the Grim Reaper but didn't have the chance? How could an overlord be so eccentric? And that young master was throwing a temper at him? "Xiao!" He raised his hand and slapped. His hand disappeared in midair and appeared in front of the young man in the next second. The young master spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. His face was deformed and many of his teeth flew out. He even knocked away a few warriors. The master of the Sunlight sect was enraged. He pointed at Li. A glint of coldness rose in Li's eyes. He took out the traceless saber and hacked at the master of the Sunlight sect. Following a glare, the master of the Sunlight sect was killed in an instant. "Hiss, hiss," everyone gasped and kept quiet out of fear. How cruel and brutal was Li to kill a master of the Sunlight sect just because of a disagreement. The patriarch of the Celestial Emperor's sect was taken aback. Soon, he came to his senses. This man was no longer the old Li. He was so powerful that he could defeat the 3 alien races. Even Lord Li was nothing to him, not to mention the patriarchs. The patriarch stood up and shouted, "Take down all the warriors of the Sunlight sect. How dare they talk back to Emperor Lu? Unforgivable." Whoosh, 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 warriors of the Celestial Emperor's sect took action. They targeted the warriors of the Sunlight sect and took them down one by one. Patriarch Gui smiled apologetically and said, "Emperor Lu, what do you think we should do with them? Throw them out. Don't let me see them again." Li waved his hand and put away the traceless saber. Taking Hu Simeng's hand, he said, "Let's go, Brother Hu. Tonight, we will drink until we are drunk." Li left with Hu Simeng and Wang Ningxue. Powerful warriors of the Wang family and the Hu family went to accompany Li at the suggestion of the patriarch of the Celestial Emperor's sect. Many other powerful warriors wanted to butter up to Li. However, Luli didn't want to talk to them. Therefore, they didn't dare to approach him. The family patriarch and the patriarch of the Hu family were thrilled. Hu Siming didn't understand, but they did. Luli killed the master of the Sunlight sect, not only to vent his anger, but also to send a message. From now on, if anyone dared to bully the Hu family, they would have to consider if Luli would kill their entire family. Back then, to help Luli, the Hu family sacrificed a progenitor warrior. Back then, many patriarchs of the Hu family were indignant. Now, all the patriarchs believed that Yin Zhu's sacrifice was worthwhile. Because of Luli, the Hu family was going to rise to the top. As long as Luli was alive and the endless ruins were fine, the Hu family would become the second most powerful force after the Celestial Emperor sect. Even though the Hu family was weak compared to many sects and families, they had Luli's support. Patriarchs of the Hu family and the other warriors got busy. First, they took over the manor, and then they made arrangements. Soon, the banquet was ready. Luli and the patriarchs of the Hu family and the Wang family were talking and laughing. Wang Ningxue, who was sitting on the side, was confused. Was this her little brother? How come he had become so powerful after disappearing for so many years? She felt that Luli was not just a little bit stronger than her, but several levels higher. Hu Simeng was drunk. He put his arms around Lu Li's shoulders and cried. Luli didn't mind. Even though Hu Simeng was weak and he was no different from an average person to Luli, that was how Luli was. He cherished old friendships, and he would return the favor with a gushing spring. Sister, halfway through their drinks, Luli suddenly walked over with a goblet in his hand. He toasted to Wang Ningxue and said with a smile, Sister, you are not young anymore, right? Do you have a good son-in-law? Bring him out and let me have a look. Wang family patriarch and patriarchs were nervous. Some patriarchs even winked at Wang Ningxue. Their meaning was clear. If Wang Ningxue could marry Luli, then the Wang family would soar. Wang Ningxue, however, turned a blind eye to the patriarchs. She blushed. She lowered her head and said shyly, I have a sweetheart, but my father doesn't agree. Oh, Luli understood. Wang Ningxue wanted him to back her up. Luli laughed and said, Sister, go and get him here. If he's a good person, send him to the Chaotic Star region to train for a period of time. Other things aside, as long as he is talented, he can reach the peak of the Emperor realm. Wang Ningxue was overjoyed. She looked up and said, He is talented, even better than me. It's just that he was not born in a good family. If you can train him, he will be faster than me in cultivation. Ha 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 ha. Luli laughed and said, Okay, go and get him. I will make the decision for you today. If it is okay with you, I will be the matchmaker and we will settle this. Third Sect Master. Chapter 3556. Wang Ningxue was a girl of character, which Luli had sensed back in the days. Wang Ningxue was a beautiful girl as well. That being said, Luli only had feelings for her as a sister and a junior brother, not as a man and a woman. Now that Wang Ningxue needed his help, he would do his best. Young ladies from wealthy families did not have much control over their marriages. Rarely could they marry a man they liked. For the sake of Wang Ningxue's lifelong happiness, Luli had to cross the line this time. Wang Ningxue ignored the looks from Wang family patriarch and patriarchs. An hour later, she came back with a dark and skinny man. This man looked like an honest person, and there was nothing special about him. He must have been a little nervous when he saw the Wang family, and his breathing was a little hurried. He was a little shy and lowered his head, not daring to look at anyone. He was still at the sixth tribulation. Wang Ningxue, on the other hand, was at the quasi-emperor realm. There was a good chance that she could reach the emperor realm. Luli understood why the Wang family looked down on this dark man after a few glances. He didn't have the bearing of a young master from a prestigious family, nor did he have powerful fighting abilities. He had no background. Naturally, a young lady of the Wang family would marry a young master from a wealthy family, one that could bring help to the Wang family. Lin Fan, Wang Ningxue, said nothing after the dark man came in. She said angrily, Come and greet my father, patriarchs, lords of the Hu family, and my brother Lu Huang. The black lump hurriedly bowed and greeted in a deep voice. Lin Fan greets Patriarch Wang, greets the elders, greets the lords of Wu clan, greets Emperor Lu. Wang family patriarch nodded indifferently. Many patriarchs of the Wang family showed their dissatisfaction. The Hu clan, on the other hand, loved to watch the fun. The Hu clan and the Wang clan had always been friends. They were very happy to see the Wang clan head and the Wang clan elders being embarrassed. They were all concerned about Lin Fan and treated him warmly as if Lin Fan was going to marry a young lady of the Hu family. Lu Li had been observing Lin Fan. At first, Lin Fan was embarrassed and nervous, but soon he got used to it. His eyes were resolute and his back was straight. He was a man of few words and would only answer when someone asked him a question. But every now and then, he would look at Wang Ningxue with deep affection. Lin Fan, Lu Li said. He didn't ask about Lin Fan's situation. Instead, he said coldly, Lin Fan, just now, the Wang family has betrothed my senior sister to me. So, I will give you two options. Either fight with me, or leave the celestial city. Wang Ningxue was startled. The Wang clan leader was startled, and the people from the Hu clan were also startled. Wang Ningxue turned pale. She was about to say something when Lu Li said to her, Sister, don't worry. Listen to me. Lu Li's momentum began to grow. He took out the traceless saber. The surging, killing intent pressed on like a falling mountain. Lin Fan's expressions changed. He was trembling. He looked up at Lu Li in fear. People are shadows. Trees are bark. Lu Li was too famous. Lin Fan had been hearing news about Lu Li everywhere. He wiped out the Blood Rock race, defeated the Boring Blade race, defeated the Talisman race, and wiped out the Holy Maiden sect. Not even all the powerful warriors of the Endless Ruins could have done this. But Lu Li had done it. Though Lu Li seemed to be at the initial stage of the Saint King realm, Lin Fan knew very well that Lu Li's abilities must be so strong that he could kill him in one move. He was taken aback as well. Wang Ningxue said that Lu Li would stand up for them. What had changed? Lu Li wanted to marry Wang Ningxue. Wang family was overjoyed after a moment of surprise. They were more than willing for Wang Ningxue to marry Lu Li. But family leader of the Hu family understood. Lu Li was not a man with nothing better to do than to humiliate Lin Fan. Therefore, family leader of the Hu family stood up and said, That is right. Lin Fan, you have two options. Either you fight with Lu Huang and defeat him, or get out of the Celestial City and never show up in front of my niece Ningxue again. Otherwise, we will have to kill you. Lin Fan's expressions changed. He looked at Wang Ningxue and saw the urgency on her face. His eyes flickered. He thought for a moment and said, Lu Huang, you are strong and you are the benefactor of the endless ruins of gods. But for Ningxue, I choose to fight with you. Having made up his mind, Lin Fan made up his mind. He didn't care about anything else. He just stared at Lu Li. Fighting with Lu Li at the Sixth Tribulation Realm was no different from courting death. His courage was worthy of recognition. Let's go. Lu Li walked out with his hands clasped behind his back. Lin Fan followed him, followed by family leader of the Wang family, Hu family leader, and other higher-ups. There was an empty field outside the hall. Lu Li was standing on it. With his hands clasped behind his back, Lu Li looked at Lin Fan and said, It is not fair for us to fight. So, I will hold back and let you have 10 moves first. If you can hurt me even a little bit, you will win. I will quit and give you my sister. Lin Fan pulled a long face and said coldly, First of all, I don't need you to let me win. Since this is a competition, then let it be a full-scale competition. If you let me win, you will be disrespecting Ningxue. Second of all, Ningxue is not a commodity. How can you call it giving her away? So, please do your best. I can die with no regrets. Okay, Lu Li shouted. He was at the peak of his strength. Carrying the traceless saber in his hand, he walked forward step by step. Lin Fan couldn't even breathe under the pressure. A saber appeared in his hand, but he couldn't even move it. He felt Lu Li was a god. He couldn't summon any will to fight against Lu Li. It was like a sheep facing a tiger. The fear came from the depth of its soul. How could Lu Li fight back? 100 feet, 50 feet, 30 feet. Luli was getting closer and closer. The pressure was getting stronger. Even family leader of the Wong family and patriarchs of the Hu family felt it was hard to breathe. The higher-ups of the two families had the same thought. If they were in Lin Fan's shoes, would they dare to draw their sabers against Luli? Hoi! While all the warriors were holding their breaths, Lin Fan suddenly roared. He rushed forward, held the saber in both hands, and hacked at Luli's head. In this atmosphere, this move was earth-shattering and domineering. Bang! With a slight sound, warriors of the Wong family and the Hu family were stunned. Luli didn't do anything. He just reached out one hand and grabbed the saber blade. His hand felt like a pair of pincers, and the saber couldn't be moved at all after being grabbed by him. Bang! Luli squeezed harder, and the saber was crushed. The horrifying chi and energy spread out. Lin Fan was smashed away. He was hurt. He stepped back for more than a dozen steps and spat out blood. He was frustrated. After a while, he looked up at Lu Li and said, "I have lost. I hope you can take good care of Ningxue. I wish you happiness." With that said, he looked into Wang Ningxue's eyes and left without any hesitation. However, he had just taken a few steps when he felt something moving in front of him. Luli appeared in front of him. Luli said with a gentle smile, "Lin Fan, you did well. Congratulations on passing. Please take care of Sister Ningxue from now on." Sect Master 3. Chapter 35-57. Lin Fan paused for a second. He suddenly looked at Wang Ningxue, only to see the deep affection and smile on her face. Then he looked at Lu Li's expression. He finally understood. He bowed to Lu Li at once. "Ha ha ha." Lu Li laughed. He turned to the family patriarch of the Wang family and said, "Family patriarch, I think this Lin Fan is good. I want to take him to the Chaotic Star region and train him well. Do you want to do me a favor and fulfill their wish?" Lu Li had tested Lin Fan. He was talented, but he lacked resources. Lin Fan could reach the peak of the Imperial Warrior realm with proper training. But whether or not he could reach the Saint Emperor realm would depend on his luck. The Saint Emperor realm was not something that could be reached with resources. It was all about one's luck and luck. Lin Fan was brave enough to fight against Wang Ningxue. He risked his life for Wang Ningxue. If Lu Li were a rival in love, Wang Ningxue would kill Lu Li in one move without mercy. It was rare that Wang Ningxue dared to fight against Lu Li when Lu Li was so powerful. Maybe not even patriarchs of the Wang family and the Hu family had the courage to fight Lu Li. In the end, Wang Ningxue lost. He left without saying anything, which made Lu Li very happy. Wang Ningxue was right about Lin Fan. He was a good son-in-law. Lu Li himself was born in a poor family. He had a weak sense of family status. He even resented it. Lin Fan was born in a poor family. It was already difficult for him to reach the sixth tribulation realm. A son-in-law like Lin Fan would be much better than those playboys. What else could Wang family patriarch say when Lu Li said that he wanted to train Lin Fan? Wang family patriarch said with a smile, "Since Emperor Lu has spoken, I will agree. Lin Fan, I hope you can cultivate with Emperor Lu and take good care of Ningxue." "Thank you, father." Wang Ningxue almost jumped up in joy. Lin Fan was overjoyed as well. He dropped to one knee and said, "Uncle Wang, thank you. Thank you, Emperor Lu. Thank you." "Ha ha ha ha, let's drink." Lu Li laughed and walked in. A group of powerful warriors came in. Wang Ningxue dragged Lin Fan in as well to toast to the seniors. Lin Fan had only suffered a minor injury, so he didn't even need to heal himself. He immediately started toasting. Moreover, he was very heroic. Others drank 1 cup, but he drank 3 cups. He didn't use his martial arts to transform into wine. Towards the end, Lu Li suddenly remembered something. The ring on his hand glowed, and a saber appeared. He threw it to Lin Fan and said, "Lin Fan, I just broke your saber. Now, I will give you another one." "Huh?" Lin Fan caught the saber and glanced at it. His face was filled with excitement. The saber that Lu Li gave him was of a very high level. It was a holy weapon, a very high-level holy weapon at that. The runes on it were densely packed, and one look was enough to tell that it was a very high-grade weapon. The ruins of endless gods had many emperor weapons, but few holy weapons. Even the Lin family only had one holy weapon. How could Lu Li give away such an advanced holy weapon so easily? The higher-ups of the Hu family and the Wang family were excited. Lu Li was being too generous. He had only crushed an ordinary weapon, but he had received a super saint weapon. Wang Ningxue pouted and said, "Brother, you're so biased. You don't even give me a gift." "Ningxue, mind your manners." Wang family patriarch scolded her. "Ha ha ha ha." Lu Li laughed. His hand glowed again. A beautiful red sword appeared. He threw it to Wang Ningxue and said, "Sister, this is for you. Consider it your wedding gift." Another super saint weapon? People in the hall exclaimed. The higher-ups of the Wang family were delighted. Lin Fan and Wang Ningxue were both from the Wang family. Lu Li had given 2 super saint weapons to the Wang family. Also, Lu Li wanted to train Lin Fan. If he could reach the peak of the Emperor realm, or even the Saint Emperor realm, then the Wang family would rise completely. The Hu family, on the other hand, was envious. Lu Li was indebted to the Hu family. Now, the sword was only for the Wang family. Why didn't he give some to the Hu family? Ha ha ha. Lu Li laughed again when he saw how the patriarchs of the Hu family were behaving. He took out an armor and a huge axe. He gave them to Hu Simeng and said, "Brother Hu, this armor and weapon are suitable for you. When we're done here, you can come with me to the chaotic star region. If you cultivate diligently, you can reach the Emperor realm." "Well, Sister Ningxue, come with me." Hu Simeng took over the armor and the axe. He said in embarrassment, "Brother Lu, I can go with you to the chaotic star region, but the gifts are too expensive." Ha ha. Lu Li smiled and said, "We are so close. Do you need to be so polite? I have killed over 10,000 Saint Emperor Realm warriors over the years. Holy weapons are nothing to me. You are not treating me like a brother if you keep being so polite." "Okay." Hu Simeng grinned. The patriarchs of the Hu family were happy, but also shocked. Saint Emperors were the most powerful warriors in the endless ruins of gods. Lu Li had killed over 10,000. He was a god of death. The banquet lasted until midnight. Many people were drunk. The higher-ups of the Wang family and the Hu family were happy. Not only did they receive relic weapons from Lu Li, but Lu Li's attitude could help the Wang family and the Hu family soar. Of course, the premise was that Lu Li must help protect the endless ruins of gods. If the 3 alien races came back and killed Lu Li, or if Lu Li fled in defeat, the Wang family and the Hu family would not be able to soar. They might even be wiped out by the 3 alien races because of their good relationship with Lu Li. Therefore, at the end of the banquet, the Wang family patriarchs and the Hu family patriarchs asked this critical question, but in a subtle way. They were asking if the 3 alien races would come back, and if Lu Li was confident that he could defeat them. Of course they will. Lu Li gave a firm answer, but his second question was ambiguous. He said with a smile, "You don't have to worry about the 3 races. I will take care of it. Just focus on developing your families and strengthening yourselves." Lu Li stayed at the Hu family, and so did a patriarch of the Heaven Emperor sect. It was Lord Li who sent a message back, telling the patriarch to follow Lu Li's orders. Lu Li didn't give any orders. He just told Lord Li to clean up the remaining warriors of the 3 alien races in the endless ruins of gods and the Holy Lady sect. Also, he sent out a large number of scouts to investigate the void outside the endless ruins of gods. Scouts must be sent out to guard all the passageways. The 3 alien races had just been wiped out, and they had lost half of their warriors. The 3 alien races would not act rashly, but they would come back. It would take time, and they had to report to the rhinoceros ape race. It would take at least half a year. Lu Li was not in a hurry. The rhinoceros ape race was monitored by the Grim Reaper of the universe region. If anything happened, the Grim Reaper would send a message to Lu Li. When the rhinoceros ape race did not make a move, Lu Li would not panic no matter what the 3 alien races did. 3 Patriarchs. Chapter 35:58. Time flew by. Soon, for months had passed. Lord Li led warriors and armies in the endless ruins to clear out the three alien races. Only the boring blade race and the rune race managed to escape from the endless ruins. The Holy Lady sect was wiped out. Many other sects that surrendered to the three alien races along with the Holy Lady sect were wiped out as well. Some other sects escaped into some secret realms. Lordly continued to organize the affairs of the endless ruins. At the same time, he dispatched many scouts to the outside of the void as per Lu Li's instructions. Scouts were sent to guard the passageways as well. Lordly even asked the Divine Rune Master to build runes to seal off all the passageways. In this way, all the scouts outside would be killed. Once the runes were broken, the scouts inside would be informed as well. That would be a warning. Lordly returned to the Celestial Emperor City. Luli met him, but did not talk much with him. Lordly could not deal with the three alien races and the rhino ape race alone. Therefore, it was pointless to talk to him. What Luli needed now was information. As long as he was provided with accurate information, everything else would be easy to discuss. Luli didn't care about the endless ruins, but he told Lordly to take good care of the Wong family and the Hu family. For Lordly, Luli's order was the highest order. He conferred the two regions near the Celestial Emperor sect to the Wong family and the Hu family at once. The two regions had a large number of resources and warriors. As long as the Wong family and the Hu family could manage well, in a few hundred years, they could become top families. The Wong family and the Hu family did not relocate because the situation was not clear. What if the three alien races came? By then, the Celestial Emperor sect would be destroyed. What was the point of having such a large territory? As long as the situation was stabilized, the Celestial Emperor sect would be stable. When the Celestial Emperor sect was stable, the Wong family and the Hu family would not be able to run away. The Wong family and the Wong family were overjoyed. They were grateful to Lu Li. Some young ladies of the Hu family and the Wong family swayed in front of Lu Li, intentionally or not. They were not powerful, but they were the prettiest. Also, the tenderness in their eyes and the amorous feelings that were released inadvertently made Lu Li feel that these young ladies were all prostitutes with insatiable desires. They wanted him to rush up like a wolf, tear apart their clothes, and ravage them. Lu Li was not moved. He didn't want to get involved in more love affairs, so he turned a blind eye to the sorrowful looks of the girls. He spent the whole day drinking tea and chatting with Hu Simeng and Wang Ningxue. Occasionally, he would go into seclusion or think about his future path of cultivation. Another 2 months passed by quickly. The Grim Reaper sent news that the Rhinoceros Ape Clan had finally made move. The Rhinoceros Ape Clan dispatched 20 experts who were infinitely close to the Great Perfection and flew over on a warship. Obviously, these 20 powerhouses who were infinitely close to the consummate realm were here for Lu Li. Together with the allied forces of the three alien races, they planned to conquer the endless ruins of gods and erase Lu Li from the world both physically and spiritually. Send a message back. Lu Li said to his trump card, Grim Reaper. Send a message to the Grim Reaper of the Tianyu Universe region to find out. You can even ask some old demons to make some noise to make sure if the rhino apes are here or not. I want them to think of a way to confirm that the Great Perfection stage of the Rhinoceros ape race is still in Sky Universe Star region. Lu Li was most worried about the Absolute Completion realm. As long as he was sure that the Absolute Completion realm had not made a move, then he had nothing to fear. He was afraid that the Great Perfection deity would secretly sneak over. While he was fighting with a group of powerhouses, that Great Perfection deity would suddenly appear and kill him with a single move. However, he guessed that the Great Perfection cultivators of the Rhinoceros ape race probably wouldn't make a move. After all, they were proud. Lu Li did not attack the home of the rhino apes, and it was just some trifling matters of an affiliated universe. How could they be dispatched so easily? What was more, Lu Li was an Emperor Realm warrior back in the day. An Emperor Realm warrior had subdued a super race and rendered 2 warriors at the absolute peak helpless. Many races in the Tianyu Star region would not believe this. Paragon-level powerhouses were all prideful, and it was impossible for them to make a move over such a small matter. If word of this got out, they would become the laughingstock of the other Paragon-level powerhouses of the Sky Universe Starfield. The news was sent back to the headquarters of Grim Reaper, which took it seriously. They sent a message to the Chanyu Star region, asking them to find out the whereabouts of the absolute completion realm of the rhinoceros ape race at all costs. The great patriarch of Grim Reaper could use the resources and wealth accumulated over the years there at will. When the great patriarch of Grim Reaper received the news, he made a move at once. He spent a lot of money to hire several old demons and then killed his way into an affiliated universe of the rhinoceros ape race. The mission of these old demons was simple. They were to lure out the absolute completion realm of the rhinoceros ape race. As long as the spies bribed by Grim Reaper confirmed that the absolute completion realm of the rhinoceros ape race had made a move, their mission would be accomplished. The old demons could then take the money and leave the Chanyu Star region. The old demons began to burn, kill, and loot in the universes controlled by the rhinoceros ape race. The rhinoceros ape race was enraged, and the powerful warriors of the race moved out. But those old demons all fled as soon as they succeeded, and then went to other universes to loot. The rhinoceros ape race itself had mobilized 20 powerful warriors that were infinitely close to the absolute completion realm, to the endless ruins of gods. There were not many powerful warriors left in the race, and they had to guard so many universes. These old demons were quite strong, and most importantly, they were very good at escaping. After chasing them for a month, they still hadn't been able to kill them, and one of their elders had even been killed. A month later, the leader of the rhinoceros ape race was enraged. He set off in person to hunt down those powerful warriors. When the leader of the rhinoceros ape race set off, he did not hide his tracks. The Grim Reaper in the main city of the rhinoceros ape race sensed him. The chi and energy of a warrior at the absolute completion realm were so strong that it was easy to tell. The news was sent back to the headquarters of Grim Reaper, who relayed it to Lu Li at once. Lu Li was relieved. Scouts outside the void sent back information as well. The allied forces of the 3 alien races were gathering. At the moment, there were tens of millions of warriors. Their battleships covered the sky and the earth. Another month later, the allied forces moved. They flew toward the endless ruins of gods quickly. They would arrive in a month. Lu Li set off as soon as he received the news. He wanted to set the battlefield outside the void. For him, it didn't matter where the battlefield was. At least, outside the void could reduce the loss of the endless ruins of gods. I'm going out now. I will fight outside. Lu Li called Lord Li over and said, I will try to set the battlefield outside the void to stall them and destroy them. But if they send in armies and powerful warriors, you will suffer as well. I cannot take care of both. So, I suggest that you hide a large number of powerful warriors and go to the secret realm. You can come out after the war. But Lord Li was troubled. He made up his mind and said, what if the 3 alien races start a massacre in retaliation? Are we going to sit back and watch them kill our people? Emperor Lu, don't worry. I will make arrangements. I will send a large number of elite warriors to the secret realm, and we will stay here. If we die in battle and you win this battle, please take good care of the endless divine ruins in the future. Third Master. Chapter 35:59. Battleships whizzed by in the endless void. There was no end in sight. The temperature in the endless void was low and it was silent. The battleships made no sound as well. They were like beasts moving silently in the void. There were at least tens of thousands of battleships blotting out the sky and the ground. There was no end in sight. If a weak warrior was traveling in the void, he would wet his pants. Transparent shields were activated on the battleships. All the battleships were filled with warriors. Their swords and armors reflected a white light, giving off a chilling yet murderous aura. It was enough to make people's hearts palpitate. There were a total of 12 million soldiers from the 3 races, and almost all of their experts had come. There were 10 experts who were infinitely close to the great perfection level. Adding the 20 supreme experts of the rhino ape race, there were 30 experts who were infinitely close to the great perfection level. There were also hundreds of Saint Kings. The elites of the three races were all here. They could not afford to lose this battle. So many warriors and armies of the three races had been slain in the endless ruins of gods. This was a great blow to the three races. The leaders of the three races were furious. If they did not kill Luli, how could they answer to their dead people? The three races had paid such a heavy price. They had to take the endless ruins of gods, or it would be a great loss. There was a huge battleship in the middle of the battleships. It was clearly several times larger than the others. There were fewer warriors on the battleship, only 20 or 30, but all of them were Saint Kings. It was not hard to imagine how powerful the warriors in the cabin were for Saint Kings to stand guard here. This warship had a huge cabin, and there were currently 30 experts sitting in it. The experts of the three clans and the rhino ape race were all here. The tables in the cabin were filled with top-level spirit fruits and fine wine. There were also some beautiful slaves of exotic races kneeling on the ground to serve them. The cabin was filled with laughter, and the atmosphere was lively. The warriors of the three races sat at the end, trying to please the warriors of the rhino apes. Boom! Suddenly, there was a loud explosion from the southeast. There was also a huge spatial ripple. The warriors in the cabin stopped talking and looked at each other in confusion. An elder from the three clans immediately went out to investigate, and the experts here immediately used their divine telekinesis to investigate. Unfortunately, the place where the explosion occurred was too far away, and their divine telekinesis could not detect it. After a while, an elder of the Blood Rock race returned. He reported that the two warships at the side had been attacked by a mysterious expert. The two warships had been destroyed, and the soldiers and experts inside had been killed. They had already sent many soldiers and experts to chase after the mysterious expert. A mysterious expert. The leader of the rhinoceros ape clan this time, the fourth elder, frowned and asked, "There's so many warriors over there. Could it be that not a single one of them detected the enemy's appearance? Don't you know what race it is?" "I don't know." The Blood Rock race expert shook his head and said that expert immediately went into hiding after releasing 2 attacks. No soldiers were able to detect his whereabouts. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, an explosion came from the northwest, followed by 2 more violent spatial fluctuations. All the experts in the cabin stood up, their eyes filled with killing intent. Attacking a warship in front of so many powerful warriors was a provocation. They would make the culprit pay the price, no matter who it was. The group of powerful warriors whooshed over to the area where the explosion occurred. They used psychic power to search for the powerful warrior that attacked the warships. However, when they checked with psychic power, they found nothing. The powerful warriors looked at each other. One name came to their mind: Luli. Some warriors and experts of the Boring Blade race and the Talisman race escaped. They came back and told them about Luli. Luli had sent the god of death to negotiate. Therefore, the rhinoceros ape race had some knowledge of Lu Li's situation. They were able to ascertain Lu Li's identity at once. Now, a mysterious, powerful warrior had attacked them. This powerful warrior could destroy a warship and kill the Saint Kings on the warships. More importantly, this powerful warrior disappeared after he was killed, and they could not find him. This was the rumored Lu Li's stealth skill. Who else would have the guts to stop them in the void apart from Lu Li? Would Lord Li dare to stop them? He wouldn't dare to come even if he had all the courage. Find him. Patriarch 4 of the rhinoceros ape race was covered in long hair. He had horns on his head. His eyes were as big as bronze bells, and he looked ferocious. Patriarch 4 bellowed. A group of powerful warriors spread out to search for Lu Li. All the powerful warriors spread out. Many warriors were mobilized as well. Many battleships flew to all sides, surrounding the void nearby. As far as they could tell, no matter how fast Lu Li was, he could not outrun the battleships. As long as the area was surrounded, Lu Li would not be able to run away. Over 10,000 battleships spread out and surrounded the area. Warriors flew out from the battleships to search for Lu Li. Over there! Boom! A deafening roar came from the north, followed by the explosion of a signal flare. The experts who were searching in all directions hurriedly flew towards the north. Battleships also whizzed in that direction. However, when the powerful warriors went after Lu Li, he was nowhere to be found. There is some energy left. He is running to the north. A powerful warrior of the talisman race shouted. The other warriors were alerted. They went after Lu Li to the north. Hundreds of thousands of miles later, they saw several deserted worlds. That powerful warrior of the talisman race pointed to one of them and said, "His energy disappeared in there." Okay, the powerful warriors were thrilled. They spread out and surrounded the deserted world. There were 3 of them and 10 of them. How could they not kill Lu Li? The deserted world seemed to be large, but it was a piece of cake for 30 powerful warriors to go in and search. Form groups of 3 and spread out. Patriarch 4 shouted and said, "We have found him. Play safe and stall him." Patriarch 4 went in with 2 other patriarchs. The deserted world was shrouded in dark haze, but psychic power was not restricted. They used their divine telekinesis to probe the inside, but they didn't sense any conspiracy. The powerful warriors spread out and searched on their own. Buzzing, 3 powerful warriors of the rhinoceros ape race were searching near a hill when a ray of light came out. The 3 warriors were enveloped by the light and vanished on the spot. The powerful warriors of the 3 alien races nearby were taken aback. They flew over at once. There are teleportation patterns here. A patriarch of the boring blade race took a look and yelled in surprise. He used psychic power to check the surroundings. All of a sudden, he felt the surroundings were spooky and horrifying. It was as if there were demons hiding in the dark haze that would suddenly jump out and devour them. Buzzing, on the other side, 3 other experts were also teleported away. The news was sent to the 4th elder as he commanded. "Everyone, be more careful. Blast the surroundings and shatter all the divine inscriptions in the area." Boom, 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 boom. Under the 4th elder's command, this wasteland suffered a calamity. Countless mountain peaks were razed to the ground, and every inch of land was bombarded indiscriminately. After more than an hour, many of the teleportation divine inscriptions that were set up were destroyed. Still, they could not find Lu Li. It seemed that Lu Li was not here. He had run away. Bang! A patriarch of the rhinoceros ape race suddenly had 3 pieces of his jade talisman cracked. He was taken aback. He flew toward Patriarch 4 and shouted, "Patriarch 4, 3 of our patriarchs are dead. She and the others' jade talismans of life are broken." Chapter 3560. What? Patriarch 4 was taken aback. He thought of something and asked, "She and the others were teleported away?" "Yes." Having confirmation, Patriarch 4 flew into a rage. He shouted, "Stop looking. Lu Li is not here. Mobilize the army to find she and the others. The teleportation altar cannot teleport them too far. Lu Li must be nearby." Patriarch 4 flew out of the deserted world with a group of powerful warriors. They did not stop. They began to search nearby. At the same time, the army spread out to search for the 3 dead patriarchs of the rhinoceros race. A moment later, that patriarch of the rhinoceros race cried in sorrow again. He flew over to Patriarch 4 and shouted from the distance, "Patriarch 4, Gu and the others are dead as well. 3 more patriarchs have been killed." Patriarch 4 yelled in rage. 6 powerful warriors were teleported away, and they were all patriarchs of the rhinoceros race. In such a short time, they were all killed. This not only enraged him, but also shocked him. How did Lu Li kill the 6 patriarchs so easily? In such a short time, 6 patriarchs were killed. In total, they only had 30 powerful warriors that were close to the consummate realm. At this rate, Lu Li would kill them all. Don't spread out. Patriarch 4 of the rhinoceros race was scared. He gathered all the powerful warriors and only sent out the army to search in case Lu Li would kill them one by one. Report, an hour later, a Saint King quickly flew over. They discovered the battlefield where the 6 elders had died. They discovered traces of blood and shattered armor. but they did not find any corpses. All the corpses had disappeared. Ghosts haunted. Who killed the patriarchs of the rhinoceros race? Is it not just one powerful warrior? Are there many? Did all the death warriors from the chaotic star region come and go? Rumors began to spread among the warriors. They began to panic. The assassin came and went without a trace. He had killed 6 powerful warriors that were close to the consummate realm. This was horrifying. At this rate, when all the powerful warriors were killed, it would be their turn. Patriarch 4 led a group of powerful warriors to the 2 battlefields. Both were in the void. When they arrived, they could smell the strong smell of blood and burnt flesh. Powerful warriors of the Boring Blade race and the Talisman race looked at each other and nodded. The clan leader of the Boring Blade race said, "Patriarch 4, it was Luli. According to our information, the 2 patriarchs that stayed in the endless ruins were burned to death." "Yes." The clan master of the Talisman race nodded and said, "Luli has some strange skill of hiding. I don't think we can find him. He also has horrifying flames. If we sneak up on him, we will be killed in an instant." "Is the rumor true?" Patriarch 4 pulled a long face. It was said that Luli possessed the art of concealment that could shock the world and make ghosts cry. Not even a warrior at the consummate level could find him. There was a super race in the Dipper universe, the Guam race. There were 2 warriors at the consummate level of the Guam race, but they were beaten by Luli alone. For was not sure, but Lu. But by 4 by Lu, but 4 Lu 4 but end. 4 Lu but. If they were as careless as before, they would probably be completely annihilated this time. There were some powerful warriors that were close to the consummate realm of the rhinoceros race, including the reclusive progenitors that were nearing the end of their lives. There were about 80 or 90 of them. The 20 powerful warriors were patriarchs in their prime. They could live for tens of thousands of years if they could survive. They were the mainstays of the rhinoceros race. If the 20 patriarchs were to die here, the rhinoceros race would suffer a great loss. After staying near the battlefield for a while, a Saint King quickly flew over. He cried out sorrowfully, "Sirs, a battleship has been attacked, and all the soldiers there have been slain. The remains of the 6 sirs have been placed on the battleship, and they've left behind a letter as well. Show me the way." The 4th elder shouted, and the group of experts rushed over, quickly finding the warship. The battleship was not damaged. The more than 1,000 warriors on board were all killed in a miserable way. 4 of the 6 bodies were charred, and their appearances were beyond recognition. 2 of the powerful warriors were in a better state. Their heads were smashed. Even though the 4 bodies were charred, the patriarchs of the rhinoceros race could recognize them immediately. They were the 6 patriarchs of the rhinoceros race. Many patriarchs of the rhinoceros race were enraged. They were filled with killing intent. The 6 patriarchs were the same race as them. Some of them were relatives. How could they not be enraged to see them die in such a miserable way? Swish! Patriarch 4 flew over and grabbed the letter next to the bodies. He waved his hand and said, "Put away their bodies." Several patriarchs took out jade coffins and put away the 6 bodies. The other patriarchs and powerful warriors of the 3 races stared at Patriarch 4. Patriarch 4 opened the letter and read it. He pulled a long face. He threw the letter to a patriarch next to him who read it out. "I am indebted to the Celestial Emperor's sect of the Endless Divine Ruins. Therefore, I have to interfere in the affairs of the Endless Divine Ruins. I have no grudge against the rhinoceros race, and I have spoken to your race. But you are stubborn. I have no choice but to stop you by killing. Leave now, or I will have to kill all of you. If the rhinoceros race still wants to fight after you die, then I will have to kill my way to the region of universe." How can the Meng race and the Lu race not be tempted when more than half of the patriarchs of the rhinoceros race are dead? If you leave now, I will write off all the grievances between the rhinoceros race and the rhinoceros race. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Luli's letter explained everything clearly. He mentioned 2 races in the letter, which were the biggest enemies of the rhinoceros race. Therefore, Patriarch 4 did not tear up the letter in a fit of rage. The patriarchs passed the letter on one by one. Some of the patriarchs were enraged, some were yelling, and some were as silent as Patriarch 4. In the old days, if Luli wrote a letter directly, the patriarchs wouldn't have taken it seriously. But now, things were different. Luli, on his own, was facing 30 powerful warriors who were almost at the consummate realm. But he was unstoppable. He killed 6 patriarchs and gave the patriarchs of the rhinoceros race a rude awakening. What Patriarch 4 and the patriarchs feared the most was not Luli's abilities, but Luli's art of stealth. They all came to their senses now. Given their abilities, it'd be hard for them to find Luli. Luli could kill any patriarch in an instant. That was to say, if they went on their way to the boundless ruins, they might be killed by Luli one by one. In the end, they would all be wiped out. It would not be a big deal if they died. If Luli went to the headquarters of the rhinoceros race and assassinated their patriarchs. When too many patriarchs were killed or injured, their biggest enemies, the Meng race and the Lu race, would be tempted. By then, the rhinoceros race would be doomed. All the powerful warriors looked at Patriarch 4, waiting for him to make a decision. Patriarch 4 lowered his head and pondered. After the time for one incense stick to burn, he suddenly looked up and said, "Go on to the boundless ruins." Chapter 35:61. There were 2 reasons why Patriarch 4 decided to go to the endless ruins. First of all, he had bragged before he came that he would bring back Luli's head. If he were to go back with his tail between his legs, he would be too ashamed to be Patriarch 4. How could he command others without prestige? The other reason was his absolute trust and respect for their patriarch. As far as he was concerned, there was nothing a warrior at the absolute realm couldn't do. If Luli could really fight against a consummate being, or if they couldn't even detect him, then why would Luli be wasting his time here with them? Threats and letters. A real powerful warrior wouldn't resort to such despicable means. He would just kill his way over. Patriarch 4 believed that a warrior at the absolute realm could kill Luli easily. Patriarch 4 ordered the army to speed up and leave Luli alone. Luli's letter made it clear that the Celestial Emperor sect had done him a favor. As such, Patriarch 4 decided to speed up and kill his way to the endless ruins. By then, he would capture all the powerful warriors of the Celestial Emperor sect and execute them in public. He would like to see if Luli would save them or not. Luli wouldn't dare to attack openly, which meant that he didn't have the courage to fight against a group of powerful warriors. What could Luli do to them when they were all gathered together? Patriarch 4 wanted to crush Luli's sneaky scheme with an open and above-board plan and crush Luli. Patriarch 4 stated his idea. The other patriarchs and powerful warriors of the 3 alien races agreed that Patriarch 4's idea was right. The 3 alien races gathered their armies in one place. All the battleships flew close together. In this way, there would only be thousands of battleships. All the battleships flew close together so that the powerful warriors could cover all the battleships with psychic power. As soon as Luli attacked, they would notice. All the powerful warriors were gathered together and never separated. Patriarch 4 of the Rhinoceros Apes said that Luli would have no chance when all the powerful warriors were gathered together. As for the army, it didn't matter how many died as long as they were not lured away. They would find a chance and kill him in one move. This was Patriarch 4's strategy. He would find Luli's weakness, and then all the powerful warriors would work together to kill Luli. If there was no chance, then there was no hurry. They could kill their way to the endless ruins and go straight to the root. As long as they didn't panic, Luli would be the one in chaos. Eventually, he would find a chance to kill Luli. The battleships tore through the air without stopping. Many of the battleships were kept, and 3,000 to 4,000 battleships were lined up side by side. This way, all the battleships were within the range of the divine will of the group of experts. All the experts used their divine wills to scan the surroundings, and they would be able to sense even the slightest movement. The time it took for an incense stick to burn was half an hour. It was terrifyingly quiet, and the experts all relaxed slightly. It didn't matter if he continuously probed, but it was very uncomfortable when his mind was highly strained. Hence, some of the experts started to slack off occasionally. In any case, there were so many experts investigating, and they wouldn't make a difference. Crack, suddenly. The space in front of them fluctuated. Next, a shocking saber light shone. The saber light flashed and disappeared. In the next second, it appeared above a warship. A startling explosion resounded, and a warship exploded. Half of the thousands of warriors on the warship were torn apart by the saber light, and the other half were injured. Luli showed up and then vanished at once. He was gone in a blink of an eye. A group of powerful warriors dashed out from their cabins and attacked the place where Luli showed up. More than a dozen attacks whooshed on, but none of them hurt Luli. Once again, Luli vanished. Teams after teams of warriors dashed out, attacking in all directions. It was a mess, but Luli went into hiding as soon as he made his move. How could they find him? After an hour of effort, Patriarch 4 found nothing. He had to order them to move on. He had a discussion with a group of powerful warriors. If Luli were to take action again, they must react as soon as possible. They had discussed what kind of attacks each powerful warrior was going to use. An hour later, the space behind them began to tremble. Following that, a ray of saber light came out and landed on a battleship. The battleship exploded, and another 1,000 warriors lost their lives. The powerful warriors here took actions at once. Almost as soon as Luli made his move, all of them took actions. They dashed over like sharp swords. 2 of them released a law of space to confine the space there, while the others began to bombard at the sealed space. After the time for 1 incense stick to burn, nothing happened. Not only did they fail to kill Luli, they couldn't even find a trace of him. After the time for 1 incense stick to burn, Patriarch 4 waved his hand. All the powerful warriors went back, and the battleship moved on. After they left, Luli came out again. But as soon as he came out, he was in stealth mode. Even if there were powerful warriors lurking nearby, they would not be able to see him. He went after the battleship quickly. After he caught up with the battleship, he checked for a while and then continued to attack. After one attack, he went into the realm of magic. Soon, a group of powerful warriors whooshed over. But the attacks could only hover in the air and could not hurt Luli one bit. Luli had the realm of magic, which was equivalent to a super life-saving skill. He could go into the realm of magic in an instant and nobody could find him. Just like that, the cycle repeated. In the next 3 days, Luli made over 100 moves, and every time, he could kill 1 or 2,000 warriors. In just over 100 attacks, he had killed 100 to 200,000 soldiers. However, to the 3 races, this amount of soldiers was nothing more than a drizzle and was nothing. What annoyed the 3 alien races and the powerful warriors of the rhinoceros ape race was that they could not hit Luli even though they were going as fast as they could. Luli felt like he could teleport without making a sound. They could not see him or hurt him, let alone kill him. Patriarch 4 was regretting. He even had the urge to retreat, but he had made his promise. How could he do that? He had to bite the bullet. It didn't matter if some warriors died. Patriarch 4 wouldn't feel bad even if all of them died. After all, they were not the rhinoceros ape race. Moreover, the army was actually useless. These troops were only there to occupy the vast territory of the endless divine ruins. The main battle still depended on the experts. For the next couple of days, Luli stopped using powerful moves. He simply used his source energy to attack. But with the help of the traceless saber, his attacks were more powerful. Every time, he would use 2 moves. Every time, he could smash 2 battleships and kill or injure some warriors. Luli's main goal was to destroy the battleships. If all the battleships were destroyed, then the 3 alien races would have to fly. With so many warriors, they would not be able to fly fast, and the situation would become chaotic. By then, Luli could find many opportunities. How could he kill the most powerful warriors on the enemy's side without chaos? Luli destroyed 1 battleship after another at a fast speed. The battleships all had divine patterns, but they were just regular transport ships. How could they stand the might of a supreme weapon? Every time Luli attacked, he could destroy 1 battleship after another. The three alien races and the powerful warriors of the rhinoceros ape race were helpless. They could only watch as Luli did whatever he wanted, destroyed their battleships, and slaughtered their warriors. Chapter 3562. In 13 days, Luli had destroyed all the battleships, not only the ones they were on, but also the ones they put away. More than 10,000 battleships were destroyed by Luli. About 600,000 to 700,000 warriors were killed by Luli. It seemed to be a large number, but compared to the number of warriors of the three alien races, it was a drop in the bucket. Casualties didn't matter. What mattered was that without the battleships, they would have to fly. Being defeated by Luli in a one-sided manner, the morale of the warriors was declining. Not only the warriors, but also the powerful warriors were confused and dispirited. Towards the end, the powerful warriors were not as active as before. They felt they were out of energy. Their attacks were futile. They could only blast at the sky like idiots. They had tried many ways and used many moves, but to no avail. Inevitably, they were discouraged and felt powerless. Patriarch 4 and the other patriarchs were wondering if they could kill Luli or not. Would they be able to go to the endless ruins of gods? They were also wondering if this trip was a road to hell for them. Would they all die in the endless ruins of gods? They had made sure of one thing. Luli's hiding skills were unparalleled in the world. None of the powerful warriors that were infinitely close to the consummate realm could find him. Luli's fame was not just for show. He was the real deal. Without the battleships, Luli began his sneak attack again. This time it was the army. Since there were no battleships, the warriors were grouped together, making it easier to kill them. If the warriors were spread out, the powerful warriors would not be able to cover them with psychic power. But if they were grouped together, they would become leaks that could be harvested by Luli. Luli was fast. Naturally, he could not go fast when there were so many warriors flying together. If they were to travel by battleship, it would only take 10 days. Now, it would take at least a month. A month seemed to be a short time, but it felt like a long time. All the warriors were in a state of anxiety, especially those on the periphery. They didn't know when they would die. Luli was troubled. The warriors seemed to be in a mess, but the powerful warriors were smart. They had been gathering in the middle and never scattered. Luli didn't have the courage to attack more than 20 powerful warriors. He could easily lose his life there. He only had one cauldron, which could only block one side of the attack. He could only send one of his trump cards, the Grim Reaper, back with his token, and have Lord Li and all the other powerful experts go into hiding. He also had the civilians evacuate as much as possible and have them enter the various secret realms. If he couldn't kill this group of experts in the void, he could only go to the endless ruins of gods and find a chance to kill them. Luli had tried to figure out a way to separate the group of powerful warriors. Unfortunately, they had been moving together. He was at his wit's end and could only launch sneak attacks along the way, killing the troops bit by bit and continuing to suppress the morale of the troops and experts. Luli thought about building some runes to see if he could send the powerful warriors away. It was a pity that with so many soldiers, no matter how many divine inscriptions they set up, it would be useless. The soldiers would scout ahead. In the following month, Luli killed another 1 million warriors of the three alien races, but not one powerful warrior. Up ahead was the endless ruins of gods. There was nothing Luli could do. He had tried his best. After all, he wasn't a great perfection deity and wasn't omnipotent. He was here to help, not to risk his life. It wouldn't be worth it to lose his life for the sake of the endless ruins of gods. He had sent one of his trump cards to inform Lord Li. If Lord Li still didn't go into the secret realm, then there was nothing he could do. Luli couldn't stop them if they were courting death. A large number of troops entered the endless ruins of gods, but the powerful warriors didn't go in. They stayed at the entrances. Luli had to wait outside as well. It took more than a month for the army of 10 million to go in. When all the troops were in, the powerful warriors went in as well. Luli didn't go in with them. Instead, he went in from a nearby entrance. As soon as he went in, he contacted the trump card of death to ask about the endless ruins of gods. The trump card of death had been in touch with Lordly. He had a clear understanding of the endless ruins of gods. As soon as Luli sent the message, Lordly sprang into action. Countless people were moved to nearby small worlds and mystic realms. The more that could go, the better. There were many small worlds and secret realms in the endless ruins of gods. Hundreds of millions of civilians could go to a small world easily. Those civilians were at least of a certain level of cultivation. They could go without food or water for a couple of years. Even though the civilians had entered the secret realms and small worlds quickly, there were too many warriors in the endless ruins of gods. More than half of the civilians hadn't gone in yet. Of course, as time went on, in another 2 or 3 months, half of the warriors would be able to go in. But there was no other way. The time was too short. Those small worlds and secret realms couldn't accommodate so many warriors. The Celestial Emperor sect was disbanded. On the surface, it was nowhere to be seen. The major sects had dispersed as well. Nobody could be seen at their headquarters. All of them had gone underground. But Lordly didn't go into the secret realm. He was hiding. The Celestial Emperor sect considered themselves the protectors of the endless ruins of gods. They would rather fight to the death than watch their civilians being slaughtered. It was a good thing for them to disperse and hide. After all, the armies and powerful warriors of the 3 alien races could not find them. But they could carry out assassinations, which could be of help to Luli. Good. Luli nodded with satisfaction. He told the Grim Reaper to contact Lordly and tell them not to fight head-on, but to focus on sneak attacks. They would try their best to help him disperse the powerful warriors of the Rhino apes and the 3 alien races. As long as they were dispersed, Luli could kill them one by one. The armies of the 3 alien races entered the endless ruins of gods. Patriarch ordered the army to march toward the Celestial City. He wanted to surround the Celestial Emperor sect, capture all the powerful warriors of the Celestial Emperor sect, and execute them in public. He wanted to see if Luli would save them or not. Since the Holy Lady sect and all the other sects were wiped out, the 3 alien races had lost their lackeys in the endless ruins of gods. Naturally, they were in the dark and had no information. Patriarch didn't care. He led the army and flew toward the Celestial City at the top of his speed. He believed the Celestial Emperor sect could run away, but not the temple. The Celestial Emperor sect was a big sect. How could they abandon the Celestial City? Everywhere the army passed, the 3 alien races ordered them to kill all civilians they saw. Everywhere the army passed, not even a blade of grass would grow. This was what Patriarch wanted. Luli, you said you wanted to protect the endless ruins of gods. We will slaughter in the endless ruins of gods. How long can you stand it? After more than a month, the army arrived at the Celestial City. But it was an empty city. Patriarch had the army search around. Making sure that there were no other warriors, he shouted in rage, "Go to the west and kill all the way. If Luli doesn't come out, then we will kill all the civilians in the endless ruins of gods." Chapter 3563. Patriarch 4 was enraged. They had killed many along the way, and they didn't mind killing more. If they could force Luli out, they wouldn't mind killing all the warriors in the endless ruins. For them, even a region in the Tianyu Star region was nothing, let alone a remote region. There had been cases of a region being destroyed in the Tianyu Star region. Luli wanted to protect the endless ruins. How could he stand by and watch a region being destroyed? The army split up into 2 legions, each with 5 million warriors. Then, the most powerful warriors split up as well, with 12 on each side. Patriarch 4 thought 12 patriarchs were enough. Luli could only sneak up on 3 or 4 warriors that were infinitely close to the consummate realm. If there were more than 6, Luli would not be able to kill 6 of them in an instant. If he couldn't, then it would be Luli who would die. Therefore, there was no difference between a group of more than 20 powerful warriors and a group of more than 10. By splitting into 2 teams, they would be able to attack faster, which would force Luli out sooner. The army marched toward the west. Patriarch 4 had drawn up a route. The army swept across to the left and right, slaughtering all the cities in the two regions nearby. Then, they would gather at the third region. Not even a blade of grass would be spared. This was the principle set by Patriarch 4. The army and the powerful warriors must stay together. If Luli attacked, they would find a chance to kill him. If there was no chance, then they would carry on. After all, Luli wouldn't dare to attack their most powerful warriors. Patriarch 4 would lead one team in person, and Patriarch 8 of the rhinoceros ape race would lead the other team. Patriarch 8 was good at seeing the big picture. As long as the powerful warriors stayed together, Luli wouldn't be able to do anything to them. After the discussion, the army set off. The three alien races had the map of the endless ruins. They just had to slaughter the cities according to the map. Soon, a tragedy happened. Many civilians in small cities didn't have time to evacuate. Many cities didn't have secret areas nearby. They had to travel to other places to enter the secret areas. Therefore, they didn't have the time to enter the secret areas in small worlds. Wherever the army passed, the civilians were all massacred, and the cities, resources, and treasured lands were all looted clean. Everywhere they went, not even a blade of grass could survive. In merely 10 days, hundreds of tribes and dozens of cities had been slaughtered. More than 10 million people had died. It was only 10 days. If they could sweep across the cities, the death toll would be 10 times or even 100 times higher. For warriors of the three alien races, the races in the endless ruins were alien races, no different from beasts. For the patriarchs of the rhinoceros ape race, the endless ruins were like ants. The scouts hiding nearby quickly spread the news. Lord Li and the other experts in hiding were all infuriated. The three alien races were infuriated. This was an attack of annihilation. They gathered together and rushed over. They were prepared to use their lives to defend the endless ruins of God and protect their people. Luli didn't do anything during this time. The three trump cards of death had been sending him messages. He knew that Lord Li and the others would not sit still. Therefore, Luli asked one of the trump cards of death to find Lord Li and the others and told them to gather in a small city. More than half of the warriors in the city had run away. Luli knew that Lord Li would not sit still. Therefore, Luli asked one of the patriarchs to find Lord Li and tell them to gather in a small city. Over half of the warriors in the city had run away. Now that the news was out, it was more dangerous to stay in the city. In the wild, they might not run into the army. Lord Li sent a message as well. They were told to hide in the mountains and spread out. It would be safer this way. Luli went into a castle where dozens of powerful warriors were sitting. The weakest of them were at the Emperor realm, and some were at Saint King's. In total, there were 3 warriors that were very close to the consummate realm. Luli took a glance. He knew some of them, but he didn't know the rest. Greetings, Emperor Lu. The powerful warriors bowed at once. For them, Luli was the supreme god, the savior of the ruins of divinity. If it were not for Luli, the endless ruins would have been destroyed. Also, the 3 alien races were fighting back, and the powerful warriors of the rhinoceros ape race were here. Luli didn't leave either. He stayed to help the warriors of the endless ruins. This was a rare quality. Don't mention it. Luli waved his hand and sat down on the main seat. He said with a serious face, "Now that you all know the situation, I will cut to the chase. I can understand how you are feeling. I have been in the endless ruins for many years, and I have feelings for this place. I am heartbroken to see the people here being slaughtered. But," Luli raised his voice, "if you just rush over like this, you will be throwing your lives away. It will be pointless. When you die, the people of the endless ruins will be slaughtered as well. I know you're not afraid of death, but you must die for something." A group of experts had gloomy and dejected expressions. A heavenly king stood up and said, "Lu Huang, what do you think we should do? We will listen to you. We will do whatever you want as long as we can drive away the 3 alien races." "Yes, Emperor Lu, do you have a plan? I will die without a frown if you want me to save the people of the endless ruins." "Emperor Lu, we will do as you say." The other powerful warriors stood up and said, Luli waved his hand and said with certainty, "Don't worry about the tens of millions of enemy warriors or the Saint Emperors. Only the 30 warriors that are close to the consummate realm. Well, I killed 6 of them outside the void. There are 24 left. I am confident that I can kill them, but I need them to split up. If 2 or 3 of them work together, I'm sure I can kill them. I need your help. Figure out a way to separate their powerful warriors and then leave the rest to me. I need you. You can play a greater role instead of throwing your lives away." "Understood." Lordly stood up and said, "Emperor Lu, give us your orders. We will listen to you, and we will not do anything rash. We will do as you say. I will cut off the head of anyone who disobeys." "Okay." Luli stood up and nodded. He took out a map and hung it on the wall. Then he took out a pen and began to draw circles on it. He drew 2 arrows, indicating the directions and trajectories of the 2 armies. Pointing to the map, Luli said, "There are 2 armies. Each army has 12 warriors that are close to the consummate realm. We will deal with the army from the city of Lu first. Based on my men's investigation, I believe they will be heading toward the city of Leaf. We will sneak toward the city of Fan, which is in front of the city of Leaf. Gather some warriors here and have them fight back. You will join the assassination team. At the same time, I will make some arrangements. As long as we can separate them, I will be able to wipe out this army. After that, I will be able to wipe out the second army." "Yes." The group of powerful warriors bowed and answered. Just a moment ago, they were in low spirits. Now, they were in a better state of mind. They felt they had found a direction and a backbone. They might not be able to survive if they followed Lu Li, nor could they save the endless ruins. But at least there was hope. P.S. There is something I need to do. Chapter 3564. Lily was right. The army on the right was marching toward the Lu City and the Leaf City. Eventually, they would not be able to go around the Fan City. The Fan City was a big city. The army would not let the Fan City go. Luli teleported over as fast as he could. Although there were not many people in the various cities, the teleportation formations were still there. They took out some crystals and easily activated the teleportation formations. After more than a day, they arrived at Fan City. At the same time, countless troops gathered in the vicinity. No matter what level the martial artists were at, they all gathered here. Following Lu Li's instructions, Lord Li and the others began to arrange their troops. Lu Li also went into stealth and began to make arrangements. The army had already arrived at Kargalik. Kargalik was bathed in blood, and the army was heading towards Fan City. The advance team sent by Lord Li had already gone over. Their objective was to disrupt their marching speed and buy time for their side to make arrangements. The advance party was led by 2 Saint Emperors. There were not many soldiers, only a few thousand, and they were not strong either. There were even 5th and 6th tribulations among them. Lord Li's mission was not to fight head-on, but to harass them. These thousands of soldiers split up and advanced separately. They spent a few days before encountering the main army. The thousands of soldiers split into over 100 teams, each team having dozens of people. They had long set up many simple one-way teleportation formations and then attacked separately. Guerrilla warfare, mobile warfare. Every time they bombarded the army, no matter how many enemies they killed, they would immediately retreat after releasing a round of attacks. They all rushed into the teleportation formation and disappeared into the distance. Moreover, it wasn't just one squad, but several dozen squads attacking from all directions at the same time. It was impossible for an army of several million to be gathered together. The army stretched for tens of thousands of li, and the attackers were still thousands of li away. After releasing their attacks from afar, they immediately fled. It was impossible to chase after them, even if one wanted to. In a short period of time, the flames of war rose in all directions. There were battles everywhere, and there were attacks everywhere. The leader of this side was the 8th elder of the rhinoceros ape race. When he discovered that there were troops attacking from all directions, not only did he not panic, but he was also very excited. Slaughtering was meaningless to them. What was the point of massacring cities? He was trying to force Lu Li and the powerful warriors of the Heaven Emperor's sect out. Massacring might be exciting for a while, but one would become numb and nauseous after killing for too long. It was like a butcher who killed pigs every day. If he killed too many pigs, he would definitely feel disgusted. Even if they killed wild beasts, they would feel disgusted after killing too many of them. Moreover, the three races wanted to rule this large domain. If this large domain became a purgatory or a dead world, then what was the point of them conquering this domain? Therefore, if they could force Lu Li and the Celestial Emperor's sect out and kill them all, then their most important mission would be accomplished. Although Lu Li didn't show up, there was an army that was clearly organized. Those warriors were either sent by Lu Li or the Heaven Emperor's sect. If Lu Li or the Heaven Emperor's sect could not wait any longer, then they would have chance. Sneak attack? Assassination? If Lu Li and the Celestial Emperor's sect were capable of wiping them out, would they resort to such tricks? He had long since openly killed his way over. Not only the Eighth Elder and the others, but even the powerhouses of the three clans didn't care about the deaths of some ordinary soldiers. As long as they could wipe out the Celestial Emperor's sect and kill Lu Li, it didn't matter if all the warriors had to die. The three races had a large population. In a few hundred years, a large number of warriors would grow up again. As long as they could occupy the endless ruins and gain access to the resources here, the warriors of the three races would grow up quickly. Regular warriors were like leeks. Once they were cut down, another group would grow up. Patriarch 8 told the warriors to gather together and then go after the warriors and capture them alive as much as possible. It was just a group of dozens of warriors. With Saint Emperors leading the team, it would be easy for hundreds of warriors to capture and kill the warriors. Patriarch 8 ordered all the warriors close to the consummate realm to stay together so that Lu Li wouldn't have any chance. After all, the other side was only sending out some warriors. Saint Emperors would be enough. At Patriarch 8's order, tens of thousands of warriors moved out to search for the warriors. Before these thousands of warriors came, they all knew that they would all end up dead. It was very likely that none of them would survive. But they didn't mind. They were here to court death. They were willing to pay with their lives for the endless ruins. Soon, some warriors were killed. After all, the warriors sent out by the Celestial Emperor's sect were weak. They were killed as soon as they moved out. They couldn't even run away. But after killing hundreds of warriors, not a single one was captured alive. Before they were captured, all the warriors blew themselves up. They had poisons hidden in their mouths. They were ready before they came. The remaining warriors were even more cunning. They led the warriors on the other side in circles. Their goal was to buy time. Now that the army had stopped and was chasing after them, they would not be so silly as to throw away their lives. Instead, they led the enemies around in circles. They could do anything as long as they could buy time. Because Patriarch 8 was afraid of traps, he strictly ordered the warriors to stay close to each other. If they went too far, they would have to come back. The warriors didn't dare to do anything rash. They came back after a while. When the army moved on, warriors from the Celestial Emperor's sect came again. Wolf tactics. When the enemy advanced, we would retreat. When the enemy chased, we would run. When the enemy retreated, we would chase. The warriors from the Celestial Emperor's sect were like a pack of wolves. They had been circling around the army. Once the army sent out warriors to chase after them, they would run away. The army didn't dare to go too far for fear of being separated. Even though they could kill some warriors from the Celestial Emperor's sect every now and then, the warriors from the Celestial Emperor's sect were still disrupting the army. It should have taken the army 10 days at most to get to the Fan City. They had been on the road for 7 or 8 days, and they were only halfway there. The higher-ups of the army were troubled. They sent out 7 powerful warriors close to the consummate realm to investigate secretly. But they found no trace of Lu Li. Lu Li didn't sneak up on them, either. Even so, the higher-ups of the army didn't dare to act rashly. They were afraid that Lu Li was hiding in some corner, waiting to bite them to death when they were alone. But they couldn't go on like this. They had only covered a small distance in 7 or 8 days. There were too many warriors like this in the endless ruins. They were as numerous as ants. How long would it take for them to wipe out the entire endless ruins? Don't worry about these small fries. The eighth elder pondered for a moment, then ordered, "Advance at full speed towards the big city in front of us." The citizens of that big city are definitely moving, and these warriors are just delaying our marching speed. Patriarch 8 didn't care what the warriors were doing. Patriarch 8 decided not to care. He had to maintain the absolute strength and concentrate on sweeping across. If Lu Li and the Celestial Emperor's sect wanted to save the civilians, then they would have to fight with force. Chapter 3565. The army was advancing at full speed. The remaining warriors were losing patience. It had only been 7 or 8 days. Luli must not have finished yet. On the off chance that it was not ready, not only would they fail to accomplish their mission, but the warriors would have died in vain. The warriors made up their minds and began to charge at the army directly. But they did it in groups. This way, the army could stop and buy more time. A few dozen soldiers charging at millions of soldiers was like a few moths charging into a sea of fire. Groups of martial artists died, all of them suicidal deaths. Many soldiers even chose to self-detonate, charging into the army and exploding themselves, taking away the lives of dozens of soldiers, even hundreds of them. Before they died, the warriors smiled in satisfaction. They could die without regrets for the billions of people in the boundless ruins. 3 days later, the thousands of warriors and the great Emperor Realm warriors had all passed away. The Saint Emperors did not go to their deaths. It was not that they were afraid of death. It was just that Lu Li had given them an order to come back if they could not accomplish their mission. They could play a greater role if they were still useful. The Saint Emperors came back as soon as they could and reported to Lord Li, who then sent a message to Lu Li. Lu Li had not shown himself recently. Nobody knew what he was doing. But Lord Li and the others knew that Lu Li had been around and he had been making arrangements. Tens of thousands of soldiers had already gathered in Fan City. They had been hastily gathered nearby, and it would take time to gather more. What could tens of thousands of warriors do? Lord Li and the others did not know. They were just following Lu Li's orders. They did not care whether they could succeed or not. It didn't matter if they died here. Lu Li gave them another order, which was to build a super large shield outside the city. Inside the shield, smaller ones would be built and smaller ones would be built, one layer after another. The stronger the defense, the better. Lu Li also built some miscellaneous formations so that the ground below the city was covered with runes. At the same time, all the warriors were gathered in the city, and the civilians were sent to the nearby mountains. Saint Emperors and Great Emperor Realm warriors were in the city as well. Several warriors that were almost at the complete realm were stationed outside the city. Lord Li felt that Lu Li's order was to use the tens of thousands of warriors and the Saint Emperors as bait to lure the enemies here. The bait was often eaten by the fish. With tens of thousands of soldiers and experts in the city, once they were surrounded by the armies of the 3 clans, only death awaited them. They were not afraid of death. If their deaths were worthwhile, they would be willing to die here. They were afraid of dying for no reason and for no reason at all. Lord Li was not clear about Lu Li's plan. Naturally, he could not explain to the warriors and warriors. He just told them to trust Lu Li. If it were not for Lu Li, the endless ruins of gods would have been destroyed and no one would have survived. So what was the big deal if they died because of Lu Li? Everyone's lives had been picked up from the ground. With that said, all the experts calmed down. Lu Li had defeated 3 alien races on his own. How could such a powerful warrior harm them? What would Lu Li gain by harming them all? Time passed by. The scouts were getting closer and closer, but there was no sign of Lu Li. Most importantly, many scouts nearby did not see Lu Li making any arrangements. What was Lu Li doing? What was Lu Li going to do? Could Lu Li lead the warriors to victory? Many questions popped up in the minds of the warriors. Nobody could give them an answer. They had to live day after day in anxiety and fear. 2 days later, when the armies were only hundreds of thousands of miles away, Lu Li's order was finally delivered. He sent an order to all the experts and soldiers. telling them to defend the city and wait for further instructions. He told them to defend with all their might and hold on for as long as possible. The shield in the city was activated. This shield did not have any energy. The energy was supported by divine energy and source of energy of warriors. The tens of thousands of warriors were divided into two groups to pour divine energy and source of energy into the shield. In this way, the shield would be more powerful. The shortcoming was that the warriors had to keep pouring divine energy and source of energy into the shield, which was costly. The warriors swarmed over like a swarm of locusts. They used psychic power to check the warriors in the city. When they discovered that there were only a few tens of thousands of people, they were somewhat dissatisfied. However, when they investigated again, they discovered that the tens of thousands of martial artists in the city were actually not ordinary citizens, but the elites of the elites. There were quite a few emperor-level and saint emperors among them. What? The Eighth Elder and the other powerhouses were bewildered. What were these elite soldiers and powerhouses doing here? Were they here to wait for death? It would be better if they were initiating the attack. But why did they have to rely on the shield? The shield seemed to be strong enough. But how long could it last? The tens of thousands of warriors kept pouring divine energy and source of energy into the shield. Sooner or later, they would run out. This was an army of 5 million soldiers. If these powerhouses joined in, it would be too easy to break through the Great City Barrier formation. Once the shield was cracked, the tens of thousands of warriors would be doomed. There was no doubt about it. In other words, the tens of thousands of warriors were here to court death. They had come from all directions to court death. If the tens of thousands of warriors were sane, why would they travel such a long distance to court death? They might as well learn from the thousands of warriors and assassinate. That would be better. What were they doing in a city? What was the point? Patriarch 8 and the others could not figure out. They all suspected that there was a conspiracy. If the tens of thousands of warriors were sane, then they must have gathered here for a purpose. The reason why they had gathered here was to stall them and attract their attention. In other words, the tens of thousands of warriors were bait. There must be someone else nearby. Of the entire endless ruins of gods, only one person could be the fisherman, and that was Lu Li. In other words, this was a setup by Lu Li. Since it was a setup, the warriors would not act rashly. At some point, Patriarch 8 even wanted to let the army retreat. But the tens of thousands of warriors were too much bait. Patriarch 8 was reluctant to leave. A small portion of the powerful warriors in the endless ruins of gods must be gathered here. There were so many saint kings and emperors. If they were all killed, then the endless ruins of gods would not be strong enough to defend. Also, they wanted to see what Lu Li had up his sleeve. They had so many warriors. As long as they stayed together, what could Lu Li do to them? Investigate. Patriarch 8 thought about it for a while. He ordered the army to surround the city. Then he asked a group of saint kings to investigate. Dozens of saint kings worked together. If they were ambushed by powerful warriors, they were told to retreat at once and not to fight. At the same time, they were to send a message for help. The scope of the investigation was limited to a radius of 300,000 miles and not too far away. On the other side, Patriarch 8 and the others were wandering around as well. All the warriors that were close to the consummate realm moved together. They used psychic power to the limit to search for any suspicious traces. If they could find something, they could figure out what Lu Li was planning. Then, they could turn the tables on Lu Li and kill him. Chapter 3566. Several hundred saint emperors searched everywhere, as well as over 20 supreme experts. They searched for a whole 10 hours, but in the end, there were no traces nearby. There were no traps, not even a single scout. There were no divine glyphs either. Everything was normal. Nothing could be more normal. Making sure that there were no traps, Patriarch 8 came back with 11 powerful warriors. He glanced over the city like an eagle. Waving his hand, he said, "Attack." Since there were no traps nearby, Patriarch 8 was not afraid, even if Lu Li were to sneak up on him. Patriarch 8 did not believe that Luli could kill 12 warriors who were almost at the consummate realm in an instant. Therefore, Patriarch 8 decided to take the bait and wipe out the tens of thousands of warriors first. At first, Patriarch 8 was careful. He only ordered the 100,000 warriors to attack, and the others stood in different formations. He did not order the warriors to move. As long as the warriors did not panic, anything could be controlled. Boom, 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 the 100,000 warriors began to strike at the city shield. 100,000 rays of light shone. The city shield lit up as well, lighting up half of the sky. The muffled noise pierced people's hearts and souls. All warriors felt their hearts were beating faster. The city shield was strong, mainly because there were more than 10,000 warriors and many powerful warriors pouring divine energy and source of energy into it at all times. The city shield's defense was amazing. The 100,000 warriors could not crack it. The only thing they could do was make the formation tremble. Patriarch 8 sneered. He waved his hand again. Another 100,000 warriors moved out. Just the attack of 100,000 soldiers was enough to cause the great city protecting array to tremble. This meant that the defensive power of the great city protecting array was not very strong. Another 100,000 warriors moved out. 200,000 warriors were attacking together. Still, the city shield was not cracked. That being said, the tremble was stronger. Boom, boom, boom. The 200,000 warriors kept on attacking. Unfortunately, their attacks did not reach the critical point. The city shield could not be cracked. Patriarch 8's bulging eyes were filled with anger. He waved his hand again. This time, there were 200,000 more warriors. Altogether, there were 400,000 warriors. Move out! A Saint Emperor in the city of Fan shouted. All the warriors and powerful warriors stuck to the city shield and began to pour divine energy and source of energy into the formation. Outside, there were 400,000 soldiers attacking at the same time. How powerful would the combined attack of 400,000 soldiers be? The great city protecting array's endurance was likely to reach a critical point. At that time, it would not be able to withstand it and would be broken. He, the 8th elder, looked down from above. He could feel the fear, uneasiness, fear, and madness in the eyes of the soldiers below. If it was just a few soldiers, then it might be an act. Tens of thousands of soldiers basically all had the same expression, so it was impossible to act. Two conclusions could be drawn from this. First, the tens of thousands of warriors did not know about Luli's plan and did not know if they could win. Would he be able to survive? Either that, or they didn't make any arrangements at all. They were only prepared to pay the price of their lives to delay the advance of the army. Boom, 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 boom. The combined attack of 400,000 soldiers shocked both the army outside and the army inside. Although the formation shook violently, it managed to withstand the attack. The attack of 400,000 soldiers was unable to break the formation. The troops inside were extremely excited. This formation had been personally set up by Lord Li. They originally thought that it was just an ordinary divine formation, but they didn't expect it to be so powerful. The 8th elder frowned and waved his hand again. This time, a total of 300,000 soldiers were dispatched. An army of 700,000 soldiers. Almost everywhere was filled with soldiers. There were soldiers everywhere near the city that could be attacked. This was pretty much the strongest attack formation. Phew, the warriors inside unsheathed their weapons. As soon as the shield was broken, they would rush out and fight. Although there were still some small formations inside, it was not enough. But if the biggest shield could not stand it, then the smaller ones inside would be meaningless. One round of attack would be enough. Luli did not give them any other orders other than to stay in the city. Now that they could not hold on any longer, they must rush out and fight. Otherwise, would they just wait for death here? Get ready. Patriarch 8 ordered the 200,000 warriors to be on standby. He would not allow the tens of thousands of warriors to escape. All of them must stay. Patriarch 8 did not want to do anything himself. None of the powerful warriors could be mobilized. They had to stay and monitor the situation at all times, mainly in case Lu Li took action. As long as Luli did not do anything, the rest would not be a problem. The Saint Kings could handle it. There were no warriors that were close to the consummate realm. Patriarch 8 had many Saint Kings on his side. They could deal with them easily. Patriarch 8 asked 4 warriors that were close to the consummate realm to monitor the surroundings so that they could notice any signs of trouble. Boom, 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 boom. The 700,000 warriors attacked at the same time. At that moment, it was as if the sky was going to collapse. The glare blinded many warriors. The loud noise made their eardrums hurt. Many warriors used psychic power to check on the shield. As soon as the shield was cracked, the warriors and powerful warriors in the city could rush out. Not only the soldiers this time, even the 8th elder and the others were shocked because after the city protection formation shook violently, it still did not break. Even the Saint Emperors inside couldn't believe it. Was this great city protecting formation really that powerful? Something is not right. One of the Saint Kings remembered something. He used psychic power to check underground. Soon, his pupils contracted. He noticed something. There seemed to be more strange patterns in the ground. Those patterns were not there before. Now they suddenly popped out. It was the appearance of these divine inscriptions that strengthened the great city barrier formation countless times, allowing it to withstand this attack. The shield didn't look different on the surface. It was the same as before. The only difference was that there were more patterns inside. The shield was much stronger. This Saint King felt that even if there were 10 times more, let alone 700,000 warriors, they would not be able to break the shield. This doesn't make sense. The 8th elder's divine sense swept out. He was also able to detect the divine inscriptions beneath the city. However, because there were so many divine inscriptions set up beneath the city, there were all sorts of formations, and the divine inscriptions were extremely complicated. How would he be able to detect any problems in such a short period of time? What's more, he didn't check carefully before. He didn't know that some of the patterns had suddenly appeared. All Saint Emperors, move out. Patriarch 8 didn't believe it. He ordered all the Saint Emperors and Thearchs to attack together. He believed that if all of them attacked together, they would have no problem breaking the shield. All the Saint Emperors and Thearchs moved out and joined the attack formation. The Saint Emperor in the city was very excited. He shouted, "Everyone, let's work harder. They can't break it." The soldiers inside came to their senses. They poured their divine power and origin power into the shield. The shield glowed even brighter. The experts outside were ready. They attacked together with the army. The attack this time was even more tyrannical and terrifying. It felt like the sky was falling. Boom, boom, boom. After a series of earth-shattering explosions, many of the soldiers were dumbfounded. Patriarch 8's eyes were filled with shock. 700,000 soldiers and so many Saint Emperors attacked together. Yet they still couldn't break through a seemingly simple great city protecting formation. Everyone retreat. Patriarch 8 was furious. He shouted, "All experts who are infinitely close to the great perfection realm attack together. I don't believe that we can't break this damn shield. P.S. 4 chapters tomorrow." Chapter 3567. It looked like a very ordinary city protecting formation, but 700,000 soldiers and so many Emperor-level Saint Emperors were unable to break it. This was simply unimaginable. However, 8th Elder believed that they could definitely break it. The attacks of powerhouses who were infinitely close to the Paragon level were too powerful. They could surpass the simultaneous attacks of countless armies. Every formation had a critical point to withstand attacks. Although there were many soldiers, their attacks were not focused on the same point. Instead, they were spread out. Therefore, it was very difficult to focus their attacks on a single point, which made it very difficult to reach the critical point. However, powerhouses who were infinitely close to the Paragon level were different. Their attacks were extremely powerful. The 12 supreme powerhouses could also lock onto a single point to maximize their attacks and break through the critical point of the city protecting formation. All the armies retreated, including the Saint Emperors. They retreated hundreds of kilometers. Eighth Elder was afraid that the shockwave from the explosion of the formation would hurt these soldiers. Most importantly, it would mess up the army formation, which would give the army inside an opportunity to take advantage of. "Get ready," Eighth Elder shouted. They were all supreme powerhouses, so there was no need for words to communicate. Eighth Elder glanced at a point, and the other powerhouses understood. They all began to charge up their attacks, preparing to release their most powerful attacks. Everyone would attack a single point and instantly blow up the city protecting formation. The soldiers and Saint Emperors inside tensed up. Their souls were all tensed up, and they were extremely nervous. If 12 people infinitely close to the Paragon level attack together, the formation would definitely not be able to withstand it, right? They were also preparing for the final battle. Everyone retreat to the small formations inside. Don't worry about the formations outside. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang in the ears of the Saint Emperor leading the team. The Saint Emperor trembled. He did not hesitate and immediately passed down the order. He was all too familiar with this voice. He had been waiting for this voice all this time, but he did not expect it to ring out at this moment. The soldiers here were all startled. They did not expect such an order to be given at such a critical moment. However, Lordly had previously said that they would listen to this Saint Emperor. Those who disobeyed would be executed. All the soldiers did not hesitate and immediately flew to the city plaza. Then, a light barrier lit up in the plaza and enveloped the tens of thousands of soldiers. He, Eighth Elder, and the others were first startled, but then they all sneered. Was there any use in hiding in the small formations? The large formations could not withstand it. So how could the small formations withstand it? Wasn't this the mentality of an ostrich? Eighth Elder scanned his surroundings with his divine telekinesis. After confirming that there were no problems, he roared, "Attack!" Rip! 12 powerful attacks were unleashed in an instant, and all of them locked onto a single point. In that instant, the light that erupted from that point blinded the eyes of many soldiers, and the terrifying aura of that moment caused the souls of the soldiers nearby to tremble. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion rang out, and a terrifying wave of energy swept out. The space around them fluctuated violently, and a dazzling light shone out. Following that, the gigantic Great Barrier Array suddenly exploded. Spatial shockwaves spread out in all directions, and the soldiers within 100 miles were blown away by the shockwaves. It broke. Countless soldiers cheered. The defensive formation had been broken, and none of the soldiers inside would be able to survive. Many soldiers and experts outside had surging, killing intent in their eyes. They were like ferocious wolves, and the tens of thousands of soldiers inside had become lambs, waiting to be harvested one by one. The soldiers inside could feel it. Their eyes were filled with despair. Their killing intent began to build up. They could not leave anyway. Fan City would be their burial ground. If they were to die, so be it. It would be perfect if they could drag some of them down with them. Rhinoceros ape race, go to hell. Right at that moment, from the northwest came a roar. Following that, 3 surges of horrifying energy came from the northwest. It was as if 3 mountains were pressing down on them. Clearly, they were 3 powerful warriors that were infinitely close to the absolute completion. They had released all of their energy, and their might was overwhelming. The Eighth Elder and the others were startled. All the powerhouses turned to look in that direction. The 5 million soldiers also looked over. Many of the soldiers revealed looks of surprise. 3 powerful warriors that were infinitely close to the absolute completion came. But there were 12 of them here. What was the point of them coming at this moment? Patriarch 8 and the others were confused as well. There was information on one of the 3. That was Lord Li, the current master of the Celestial Emperor sect. There was no information on the other 2, but they were clearly not Lu Li. What were Lord Li and the other 2 doing here? Were they here to court death? Buzzing almost at the same time, a black light suddenly lit up in the city, and then the black light burst out. Like the mouth of a giant beast, it locked on the Eighth Elder and the other 4 supreme experts and engulfed them. No, this is a teleportation formation, Patriarch 8 and the others were worried. They wanted to run, but it was too late. First of all, they were distracted by Lord Li and the others. Their reaction was a bit slow. Secondly, they were right on the edge of the city, too close. If it were an offensive formation, Patriarch 8 and the others wouldn't mind. But it was a teleportation formation. They felt a strong force was sucking them in. At that moment, Patriarch 8 suddenly understood Lu Li's plan and his plan. Lu Li's plan was simple, to divide and defeat them one by one. When they were separated, Lu Li could kill them easily. Lu Li's plan was not outside the city, but inside the city. At the bottom of the city, there were all kinds of divine runes, big and small arrays, as well as illusory arrays and bewildering arrays. There were all sorts of arrays, causing one's eyes to be dazzled. Most of the formations were useless. The only one that was useful was this teleportation formation. Lu Li's goal was to teleport the 6 powerful warriors away and then kill the other 6 and the millions of warriors. Clearly, Lord Li and the others were here to distract them so that Lu Li could secretly control the teleportation altar and teleport them away. Unfortunately, it was too late for Patriarch 8. This teleportation altar was clearly special. They felt they were being swallowed up and teleported away by force. Charge! Lord Li and the others yelled and dashed over. Almost at the same time, the shield in the city disappeared. Lu Li had given them an order to kill their way out and make the situation chaotic. How could Lu Li take advantage of the chaos when the situation was not chaotic? Everything had been planned for this moment, to separate the powerful warriors and to confuse the enemies so that Lu Li could take advantage of the chaos and kill the enemies. Lord Li and the others each targeted a powerful warrior and began to attack. The other 6 powerful warriors were in a daze. The fact that Patriarch 8 and the others were teleported away threw them into a panic. They felt they had lost their leader. Patriarch 8 and the others were teleported away. They felt they had fallen into a trap. Naturally, they were panicking. Buzzing, Lu Li had been lurking nearby. Finally, he showed up. He stood behind the 2 warriors who were infinitely close to the consummate realm. Lu Li grinned coldly. He was like a venomous snake showing its glistening fangs. Master 3. Chapter 35-68. This time, Lu Li's plan was perfect. He did not do it outside the city because he knew very well that any plan outside the city would be discovered, and it would be futile. This time, he didn't tell anyone about his arrangements. Otherwise, he would be exposed. The soldiers' confusion, fear, and madness couldn't be faked. If it weren't for their expressions, 8th Elder and the others wouldn't have been fooled so easily. Many divine patterns were built in the city, which was the key. The divine patterns were messy, which was a good way to confuse the public. Blood Fairy had been secretly building formations at the bottom of the city. The reason why the shield was so strong was that Blood Fairy had altered the divine patterns to enhance the defense. Otherwise, the shield would have been cracked a long time ago. 2 miserable cries were heard. Then, the 2 powerful warriors tumbled around in the sky. Many warriors came over and noticed that the 2 warriors' bodies were being corroded at a horrifying speed. Because of the pain, the 2 warriors kept howling and attacking in a frenzy. Many warriors and several Saint Emperors were killed by them. What was going on? The other powerful warriors were frightened. How come 2 of them were badly injured all of a sudden? From the looks of it, he was obviously not going to survive. But they did not even see a shadow of the murderer. After Lu Li used the divine liquid of destruction, he snuck away. The other powerful warriors were distracted by Lord Li, so they did not notice Lu Li. It was 6 against 3. Now, 2 of them were about to die. It was 4 against 3. There were 5 million warriors and many Saint Emperors and Great Emperors. However, the remaining 4 supreme powerhouses were all panicking, and the 5 million soldiers were also terrified. Charge! Tens of thousands of warriors and powerful warriors dashed out from the city. Even though there were only 50 or 60,000 of them, they were more powerful than the 5 million warriors. They pierced through the city like swords. The warriors had to bite the bullet and fight. They used psychic power to check the surroundings, trying to find the murderer that sneaked up on the two powerful warriors. Buzzing, this was the second time Luli attacked. He was targeting the Bloodrock Master who was fighting against Lordly. Luli appeared behind the Bloodrock Master and released a ball of flames that swallowed the Bloodrock Master. But the Bloodrock Master was fast. He was able to react. As soon as the flames burned him, he moved to 30 miles away. Bang! He dodged Lu Li's sneak attack, but he could not avoid Lord Li's coordinated attack. Lord Li hacked at him with his saber, and he was badly wounded. Lord Li charged forward like a leopard. The Bloodrock Tribe King wasn't going to survive. Luli. This time, Luli showed up. The standard flames made many warriors and warriors shudder. How long has it been? The three supreme experts were about to die, but now it had become 3 against 3? No, it was 3 against 4, and there was Lu Li, who was horrifying. All the warriors and powerful warriors were panicking. Fight or flee? This was a problem. They were unwilling to flee. Moreover, if they fled, they would suffer a crushing defeat. It was estimated that not many of these millions of soldiers would be left after they escaped. If they fought, how could they fight? They might be able to kill 1 or 2 powerful warriors like Lord Li if they put their lives on the line. But to kill Lu Li would be a bit of a stretch. Lu Li came and went like a shadow. After sneak attacks, he would run away regardless of whether he was successful or not. He didn't give them any chance to fight back. What was more, Lu Li was skilled in hiding. Nobody could find him. He could be standing behind you, and you wouldn't be able to tell. Swish, swish, while the 3 powerful warriors were in a dilemma, Lu Li took actions again. He targeted a powerful warrior of the Rhino Apes and wounded him with the divine liquid of perdition. This time, with Lord Li's help, Lu Li's sneak attack was too easy. Given enough time, all the powerful warriors would die here. Run! The other 2 powerful warriors did not hesitate. A great patriarch of the Boring Blade race yelled and fled to the southeast. However, as soon as he flew away, a ray of light came from the void in front of him. A tripod whooshed over and grew larger. Inside the tripod, there was a glow of 7 colors. The tripod suppressed him at once. Another powerful warrior ran away as well. Lord Li and the others reacted quickly. They no longer cared about the wounded ones. The 3 experts attacked the escaping supreme expert at the same time, blasting him to death. Of the 6 powerful warriors, 3 were dead. 1 was suppressed, and the other 2 were wounded. The 2 wounded warriors wanted to run. How could Lord Li and the others miss such a good chance? They all pounced on them like starving wolves. Run! Saint Emperors and warriors were panicking. They ran to all sides. The tens of thousands of warriors were thrilled. They did not expect that they could win so easily. They bellowed and chased after the powerful warriors with no regard for their own lives. This was the best chance. How many warriors could be saved would depend on their abilities. There was no suspense in the situation after that. All 6 supreme powerhouses were killed in an ambush. Not a single one survived. Lu Li, Lord Li, and the others began to hunt down the enemy, mainly the Saint Kings and Great Emperors. The average warriors were not important. As long as they could kill the powerful ones, the enemy troops would not be able to last for long. Don't go to the northwest. I have teleported the 6 powerful warriors to a place hundreds of millions of miles away. You can go after them for an hour at most. Then, come back here and regroup. When the 6 powerful warriors come back, you will be in danger. Lu Li said and left to hunt down the 6 powerful warriors. His 3 trump cards, the Grim Reapers, were sent out by him to secretly monitor the 6 supreme powerhouses who were teleported away. If the 6 powerful warriors came back, Lu Li was sure that he could kill them as well. But if they ran away, then he would have to figure out another way. Patriarch 8, what should we do? In a mountain hundreds of millions of miles away from the Fan City, Patriarch 8 and the other 5 powerful warriors gathered together. All of them were terrified. They had thought there would be an ambush, but after a thorough search, they found nothing. Patriarch 8 was worried. He had been tricked by Lu Li. If there was no ambush here, then it must be in the Fan City. He estimated the time of teleportation and realized that they had been teleported away hundreds of millions of miles. That was to say, it would take them an hour to fly back at the top of their speed. In that time, all the powerful warriors would have been killed. Should we go back or retreat? Patriarch 8 was struggling. After the time for half an incense stick to burn, he made up his mind and said, "Forget it. Let's go and meet up with Patriarch 4. Forget it? The clan leader of the talisman race was here. He was worried, if we don't go and rescue them, the 5 million warriors over there will all be slaughtered. Which is more important, the warriors or us? Patriarch 8 said with a straight face, "It will take us an hour to get there. By the time we get there, the battle will be over. If they can run away, then it doesn't matter if we go or not. If they can't, then we will still be courting death. Think about it. I don't want to take the risk. Life and death are not important. What I am afraid of is dying for nothing." With that said, Patriarch 8 flew toward the deer city where Patriarch 4 was. The Patriarch of the rhinoceros ape race went with him. What could they do about the two powerful warriors of the talisman race and the bloodrock race? They had to make up their minds. Sect Leader 3. Chapter 35-69. Patriarch 4 and the others were at the deer city. They were a bit far away, one region apart. They had just bathed the deer city in blood. They were now resting in a mountain near the deer city. Patriarch 4 soon learned that 6 powerful warriors had died. All the powerful warriors had left behind their jade talismans of life, and 6 of them had exploded. Boom! When Patriarch 4 heard the news, he slapped at a boulder next to him in rage. The boulder was reduced to dust at once. Patriarch 4 had to suppress his anger. Otherwise, it would not be the boulder that was destroyed, but the entire mountain. What is Patriarch 8 doing? Patriarch 4 was disappointed. He said in a cold voice, "Only 6 are dead. Luli must have split them up. What a fool. I have told them over and over again not to split up. Why did they split up?" The expressions of the supreme powerhouses nearby were a little ugly, and even their gazes were a little erratic. They were wondering if they could kill Luli. Could they conquer this land? Especially the powerful warriors of the rhinoceros race. This had nothing to do with them. They sent out 20 patriarchs, and 7 of them had died. If all of them died, it would be a great loss for the rhinoceros race. If they could kill Luli, they would be willing to pay any price, even if only one of the 20 patriarchs could survive. But they were doubtful. Could they kill Luli? If they could not kill Luli and all of them died here, then their deaths would be pointless. The powerful warriors gathered together to discuss. Patriarch 4 did not have the final say. He asked the powerful warriors to express their opinions and brainstorm to see if they could come up with a good idea and whether they should advance or retreat. The group of powerful warriors discussed for half a day, but came to nothing. They had an insurmountable problem, and that was they could not find Luli. Also, they had nothing to threaten Luli. Luli was indifferent to the death of the average civilians. They could not find the powerful warriors of the Heaven Emperor sect. Apart from killing some civilians, there was nothing they could do. They had to wait and send out scouts to find out. After waiting for half a month, the 8th elder and the others returned first. They told Patriarch 4 about the situation. Patriarch 4 said nothing. They repeatedly deliberated and found that in that situation, even if the 4th elder was present, he would still fall into the trap. It was impossible to guard against. The hearts of the 4th elder and the others were beating like a drum, but they immediately took action. They mobilized all of their troops and flew towards Fan City. There were many defeated soldiers there, and if they went there now, they might have a chance to rescue some of them. He reckoned that some Saint Emperors and Emperor realms had also escaped. If they went over now, they would be able to provide support. At the same time, they also wanted to understand the specific situation so that they could discuss what to do next. The army advanced majestically, covering the sky and covering the earth. Because 6 supreme experts had died, the 4th elder and the 8th elder were incomparably furious. All the tribes and cities they encountered along the way were all razed to the ground, and their people were all slaughtered. The flying speed of the army was slow, so it would take them at least a month to get here. After flying for half a month, they had already encountered some defeated soldiers. The routed soldiers recounted the situation of the battle and told the fourth elder and the others that there were still many routed soldiers and countless soldiers in the endless ruins of gods chasing after them. Speed up and kill our way over. The fourth elder waved his hand and stopped massacring the nearby tribes. Instead, he flew towards Fan City as fast as he could. They were not only going to rescue the routed soldiers of the three races, but more importantly, they were going to find the army of the endless ruins of gods and kill them. Of course, the fourth elder and the others were especially careful along the way to avoid falling into another trap. They arranged a large number of scouts around them, especially at places with divine patterns. They directly bombarded them. Regardless of what those divine patterns were for, they would destroy them first. Along the way, the army encountered routed soldiers. 5 days later, they received news that there was a huge mountain range tens of thousands of miles ahead of them. A few thousand soldiers of the three races had escaped there, and nearly 10,000 soldiers of the endless ruins of gods were chasing after them. Let's go. The fourth elder waved his hand, and the army advanced quickly. The fourth elder was even more cautious this time. He sent at least 100,000 scouts, and the search area was spread out over a radius of 100,000 miles. If there were any signs of trouble, it would be reported immediately. At the same time, all the experts gathered together. They definitely could not make the same mistake as last time. Along the way, they received information that there was nothing out of the ordinary. There was indeed a battle going on in the mountain range. Nearly 10,000 soldiers were fighting with the three races in the mountain range. There was a natural maze in this mountain range, which was why all the armies of the three races had fled here to hide, relying on the maze to avoid being hunted down. At first, not so many warriors came here. It was because they heard that many warriors of the three races were hiding here. Warriors from nearby cities and tribes swarmed over to join the encirclement. Even though there were nearly 10,000 warriors here, many of them were weak. There were even warriors of the fourth tribulation. Therefore, even though there were more warriors, the two sides were evenly matched. The endless ruins of gods had the upper hand because the morale of the three races had declined. They were all scared out of their wits by Luli. The information was reported by the escaped warriors. It was truthful and there was nothing wrong. There were not many powerful warriors in the mountain, only 2 Saint Kings and more than a dozen great Emperor Realm warriors. It was said that the warriors of the endless ruins of gods who were close to the consummate realm had gone to the north. That was where the majority of the fleeing warriors were. Charge! After a while, Patriarch 4 gave the order. They were not afraid, even if there were ambushes in the mountain range. As long as their powerful warriors stayed together, Luli could not do anything to them. They had to wipe out the nearly 10,000 warriors first. The army flew over and soon arrived at the mountain range. The mountain range was famous. It was called the Mist Mountain. It was shrouded in mist all year round and psychic power would be limited. The mountain range was made of rocks, very hard ones. Average warriors could not break them. There was a kind of iron tree growing in the rocks. The trees were hundreds of feet tall and had dense foliage. Because of the mist in the mountain range, it was hard to tell what was going on in there from the sky. What were millions of warriors going to find out? Patriarch 4 waved his hand. The hundreds of thousands of warriors flew down and entered the area shrouded in mist. Soon there came some sounds of explosions, miserable cries, and angry roars. The situation was clearly one-sided. The warriors of the endless ruins of gods could not stand it. Once they encountered them, they would either be killed or run away in panic. In less than an hour, many warriors flew out from the Mist Mountain and fled to the north in panic. Many Saint Kings asked Patriarch 4 if they should go after them. Patriarch 4 thought about it and said, "We must go after them, but don't be in a hurry. Send some top-level scouts to follow them and see where they are going. What if we can find their secret stronghold nearby? What if we can catch a big fish?" Patriarch 3. Chapter 3570. Over 100 scouts were sent out to follow the escaping warriors. One day later, good news came back. Those top-notch scouts followed the fleeing soldiers and found a mystic realm. Moreover, a Saint Emperor had even captured an overlord. After searching his soul, he obtained a very important piece of information. This secret base was an important one for the Celestial Emperor sect. More than half of the young elites of the Celestial Emperor sect were here. In addition, there was a powerful warrior who was infinitely close to the consummate realm. He was one of the few founding patriarchs of the Celestial Emperor sect. Secret base. The news excited all the powerful warriors, the elites of the young generation. They were the seeds of the Celestial Emperor sect, the life of the Celestial Emperor sect. Lu Li and the higher-ups of the Celestial Emperor sect would lose their minds if they could capture the elites. Once the enemies lost their minds, the Celestial Emperor sect would have a chance. If Lu Li remained calm, the Celestial Emperor sect would not stand chance. That great Emperor Realm warrior was brought out, but he was in a vegetative state. Searching his soul could lead to problems. Fortunately, the great Emperor Realm warrior was still alive, and his memories were still there. The fourth elder personally searched his soul and found that there were indeed remnants of memories regarding this secret base. This was one of the most important bases for the Celestial Emperor sect. Not only were there many elite disciples of the Celestial Emperor sect, but there were also many treasures. The treasures did not matter. What mattered most was the elite disciples. Without any hesitation, Patriarch 4 led all the powerful warriors to the entrance of the secret area, without waiting for the army to move forward. They would take control of the secret entrance first. The army could come slowly. The entrance was in a pond on a hill. There were many scouts nearby, and there was a powerful formation of illusion. But for Patriarch 4 and the others, the formation of illusion was not a problem. They were not affected. When they arrived, they took control of all the scouts nearby. They did not kill any of the scouts. They just controlled them so that they would not alert the enemy. They did not rush in after they took control of the scouts. They waited for the army to arrive. Half a day later, the army arrived. Millions of warriors surrounded the area. Not even a mosquito could get in. Patriarch 4 and the others gathered together. They decided to enter the secret area at once and take control of the inside. If the powerful warriors inside were to notice and seal the entrance, it would be troublesome. The fourth elder decided to personally lead the team in. Moreover, 10 of them would enter at once, while the remaining 8 would stand guard outside. This was a safer way to fight and avoid ambushes. With 10 powerful warriors going in, it wouldn't matter even if there were ambushes. So what if Lu Li was in there? How could he kill the 10 supreme experts? The 8th elder stayed outside to oversee the situation. There were 8 experts outside. Even if something were to happen, they would be able to stabilize the situation for a while. With 8 supreme experts and so many Saint Emperors, it shouldn't be a problem to hold out for a while, right? The 10 experts entered the pool and entered the secret realm through a hole at the bottom of the pool. Looking at the experts entering one by one, nothing unexpected happened. Outside, the 8th elder and the others felt relieved. It seemed that there was no problem here, and everything was normal. It seemed that this secret base would be taken down very easily. Suddenly, the entrance at the bottom of the pool rippled, and the lake water surged violently. Then, with a muffled explosion, the entrance actually exploded at that moment. The lake water rose up and splashed on the warriors and powerful warriors around. The warriors and powerful warriors were dumbfounded. They stared at the bottom of the lake, forgetting to dodge the pouring water. Oh no, we have fallen into a trap again. Patriarch 8's mind was weighed down. He sensed something familiar. The other 5 powerful warriors that had been through the incident at the fan city were taken aback as well. They could smell the scent of a conspiracy. How could the entrance explode all of a sudden? The entrances and exits of secret realms were usually stable and reinforced with divine patterns to prevent them from collapsing. As soon as Patriarch 4 and the others went in, the entrance exploded. How could it be such a coincidence? During the battle at the Mist Mountain, there happened to be a secret realm nearby. Coincidentally, They captured a Saint Emperor Realm warrior and searched his soul to find out what was going on in the secret realm. Also, most of the elite disciples of the Celestial Emperor sect were in the secret realm. Now, the entrance exploded as soon as they went in. Everything made Patriarch 8 and the others feel that this was a series of traps. Just like what happened at the Fan City, everything was linked to each other, and the layout was far-reaching, leading them step by step into the trap. At this moment, Patriarch 8 felt chills running down his spine as if he was being targeted by a viper. Now that the entrance was destroyed, there was still a way to come back. It was a simple solution. Patriarch 4 and the others could blast open the barrier of the secret realm. Then they could rush out into the void and come back to the boundless ruins. But there was a problem. Even if Patriarch 4 and the others could come back as fast as they could, it would take them at least half a year. During this half a year, they would be attacked by Lu Li and the others. Not long afterward, they would all die here. If they left now, some of them might have a chance to make it back. But if they left, Lu Li would probably target Patriarch 4 and the others. What if there were other hidden passages in the secret realm? By then, Patriarch 4 and the others would lose their lives. The 8th Elder was at a loss, and fear took over his heart. Lu Li was too horrifying. Instead of facing Lu Li, he would rather have 30 powerful warriors fight against 40. That way, he wouldn't be so panicked. Lu Li was only at the initial stage of the Saint Emperor realm, but he felt he was more horrifying than dozens of warriors who were infinitely close to the completion of the Saint Emperor realm. Patriarch 8, what should we do? A group of powerful warriors surrounded Patriarch 8. They were confused and scared as well. They had never seen such a strange fight in their entire lives. They felt they had entered an underground palace. There were paths everywhere, but when they pushed open any door, they sensed fatal danger. There was no way out. They were in a dilemma. Patriarch 8 forced himself to calm down. He took a deep breath and said, "Let the army leave here and guard nearby." A powerful warrior gave an order at once. The army left. That powerful warrior told the warriors nearby not to spread the news. Otherwise, they would be killed. As a matter of fact, Patriarch 8 didn't care if the warriors' morale was shaken. He just didn't want the low-level warriors to see how embarrassed they were and how flustered he was. "Let's see if we can blast open the entrance," Patriarch 8 said after some thoughts. Several powerful warriors took actions at once. They launched fierce attacks at the entrance. However, there was not a single drop of water left in the pond. There was a deep pit at the bottom of the pond. Still, the entrance could not be reopened. The entrance was a passageway connecting space. It was impossible to reopen it now that it had been destroyed. The 8th Elder weakly waved his hand, signaling the two supreme experts to stop. He sighed and said, "We have two choices. Either we retreat and go back, or we die. Either we retreat, or we stay here and wait for Patriarch 4 to come out." Neither of the two options was good. The other powerful warriors looked at each other, confused. They didn't know what to do. P.S. Chapter 4. Master 3. Chapter 35-71. Patriarch 8 had made a wrong decision, which resulted in the death of 6 warriors close to the complete realm and so many warriors. This time, Patriarch 8 did not have the courage to make a decision. He decided to let the 8 powerful warriors vote on whether to leave or to stay. In this way, if something went wrong, everyone would be the scapegoat. Patriarch 8 could not shoulder the responsibility alone. The 8 powerful warriors thought about it for the time, for one incense stick to burn. In the end, they gave their opinions. 5 of them agreed to stay and defend, while only 2 said they wanted to go back. Patriarch 8's vote was no longer important. He waved his hand and said, "So be it. We will stay here and build more divine glyphs, both on the outside and the inside. We will build divine glyphs in the air as well in case Lu Li sneaks up on us." Patriarch 8 was frightened by Lu Li. He was afraid that Lu Li would launch another sneak attack. A large number of divine patterns might not be able to trap or kill Lu Li, but it would be difficult for Lu Li to sneak in and get close to them. The 8 powerful warriors took action. They mobilized their warriors and built all kinds of divine patterns to cover an area with a radius of 3,000 miles. Not even a mosquito could get in. They believed that Patriarch 4 would come out. They would stay here and wait for Patriarch 4 to come. When Patriarch 4 came, victory would be theirs. They did not ask for any merit, only to make no mistakes. Killing Luli was just a pipe dream. Hundreds of thousands of miles to the west of the entrance to the secret realm was a mountain where many warriors were gathered. There must be tens of thousands of them. Luli, Lord Li, and all the other powerful warriors were at the peak of the mountain. Scouts were coming back with news, which made Lord Li overjoyed. Emperor Lu, you have made such a meticulous plan. We admire you. Lord Li bowed to Lu Li. All the powerful warriors looked at Lu Li as if he were an immortal. Lu Li had just won a great victory at the Fan City. He had made another plan at once. Once again, he separated the enemies and created favorable conditions. All the powerful warriors had thought that they were doomed. Lu Li's last meeting with them gave them hope. This time, they saw the dawn of victory. Lu Li was leading them to victory step by step. He had accomplished an impossible task. Naturally, the powerful warriors saw him as an immortal. Lord Li exclaimed the most. Hundreds of years ago, Lu Li was just a warrior of the Fifth Tribulation, a disciple of the Heaven Emperor's sect. Back then, even Emperor Rue and the others were superior to him, not to mention Lord Li. It had only been a few hundred years, and Lu Li had reached such a height that even Master Li could only look up to him. Even if Ancestor Swan and Celestial Emperor's sect master were still alive, they could only look up to him. The Swan Ancestor was proficient in divination. When Lu Li left, Lord Li was there. The Swan Ancestor once said that there would be a trial in the endless ruins of divinity and that only Lu Li could solve it. Even though there was a difference in the timing of the disaster, Lu Li's calculation that he would survive the disaster was accurate. Lord Li firmly believed in this. Only by following Lu Li could the endless ruins of God be victorious. Another powerful warrior, Master Zhou, who was very close to the consummate realm, bowed to Lu Li and asked, Emperor Lu, what do we do next? We're going to attack? Annihilate those millions of soldiers and 8 supreme experts? Or do you want to enter the secret realm and kill the 10 supreme experts inside? There was indeed an entrance to the secret realm, but there were no elite disciples of the Celestial Emperor sect inside. The secret realm was a dangerous place. Even warriors close to the consummate realm would be in danger inside. There was a well-hidden entrance, and it was dangerous around the entrance. They believed that Patriarch 4 would not be able to find it. Even if they did, they wouldn't take the risk. Let's deal with the ones inside first. Lu Li said with certainty. The ones outside are building divine glyphs. Clearly, they are ready to defend. They will not leave anytime soon. The ones inside may come out. So we must kill the ones inside first. As long as we can kill the 10 powerful warriors inside, the ones outside can only wait for death. There are 10 powerful warriors inside, and the leader is very strong. Lord Li reminded and added, we have another warrior close to the consummate realm. He's on his way. I think it will take him 10 days. Including him, there are only 5 of us. This is going to be difficult. It's okay, Lu Li said with a smile. I have been to that secret realm. It is spooky and horrifying. There are remnants of divine glyphs in many places and some other strange things. This kind of terrain is perfect for me. With the 4 of you working with me, we should be able to kill them. Oh, I remember there are some super powerful beasts in there, right? Yes. Lord Li nodded and said, there's a giant beast, a soul-type soul beast, and a fire rock king inside. They're all beast kings whose combat strength is infinitely close to the great perfection level. That's even better. Lu Li grinned and said, go and gather thousands of warriors and put them into interspatial artifacts. Tell them, their mission this time is to lure the king of ferocious beasts to attack the 10 powerful warriors. So if they go, they will not make it out alive. If they're willing to go, make arrangements. Yes, we understand. Lord Li nodded. He was solemn. To lure the king of beasts away, not just average warriors were needed. At least warriors of the sixth tribulation would be needed. What was more, a large number of warriors of the sixth tribulation were needed. Sending so many disciples would be suicidal. But to kill the 10 powerful warriors, the sacrifice was necessary and worth it. Lord Lee went to make the arrangements. He gave a general explanation of the situation. Thousands of warriors of the sixth tribulation signed up. Many warriors of the sixth tribulation were willing to sacrifice their lives. They were fighting for the endless ruins of gods. If they could not defeat the three races, the people of the endless ruins of gods would forever be silenced. They would be enslaved by the three races, treated like pigs and dogs for generations. Even though the infighting in the endless ruins of gods was fierce, they were very united at this critical moment. They also believed that their deaths were meaningful and heroic. They would leave their names in the history of the endless ruins of gods and go down in history. Sometimes, death was as light as a feather. Sometimes, it was as heavy as Mount Tai. Even the most ferocious and evil old devils would be touched by the hatred of their country. They would also fight for the endless ruins of gods for their own kind, even if they had to sacrifice their lives for it. Soon, 10 days passed. Another powerful warrior who was close to the consummate realm arrived. This was a reclusive demon who had been in seclusion for many years. This time, Lord Lee sent someone to invite him. He came without hesitation after learning that the endless ruins of gods was being invaded. Let's go. For 10 days, the armies of the three alien races and Patriarchate were doing nothing. They were building divine inscriptions and preparing to hold their ground. Luli went there in person. After making sure, he decided to set off. He left with Lord Lee and the other three, as well as more than 2,000 warriors of the sixth tribulation. They went to the hidden entrance and entered the secret realm to kill Patriarch 4 of the Rhinoceros Ape race. Master 3. Chapter 3572. As a matter of fact, this secret area was famous. It was just that Patriarch 4 and the others didn't have a source of information, so they didn't know about this secret area. Otherwise, they wouldn't have fallen into the trap so easily. This secret area was famous for being a dangerous place. Previously, it was the place where a peerless old demon lived in seclusion. The three kings of ferocious beasts were created by this demon. They weren't captured by the demon from the outside, but bred by him. The demon tamed many ferocious beasts and used various medicines to make the beasts mutate. After the death of many beasts, he bred 3 powerful kings of ferocious beasts. The demon wanted to train more kings of ferocious beasts and then lead them out to dominate the endless ruins of divinity. However, his plan was exposed, and he was killed by the master of the celestial emperor sect of that generation. This place became a place without a master. Later on, many warriors and powerful warriors went in to hunt for treasures. Some of the treasures were taken away, but the 3 kings of ferocious beasts were left behind. After the death of the demon, the 3 kings of ferocious beasts went mad and nobody could tame them. Slowly, there were no more treasures inside, but there were endless dangers inside. Therefore, no warrior entered this mystic realm. Occasionally, some young warriors with wild ideas would go in, but they all ended up as food for the ferocious beasts. Naturally, this was not the secret base of the Celestial Emperor's sect. Also, this was not the territory of the Celestial Emperor's sect. How could the Celestial Emperor's sect build a secret base here? There was not a single warrior of the Celestial Emperor's sect here, nor any treasures. There was only a black fog, and the sinister energy was piercing to the bones. As soon as Patriarch 4 and the others came in, they knew they had fallen into a trap. They checked for a while but didn't move. They all gathered together. Patriarch 4's expression was the worst. He knew he had been too hasty. He should have sent some warriors in to explore and make sure it was not a trap before they came in. The entrance had been blown up. They couldn't go back even if they wanted to. As a matter of fact, it was not his fault. He was forced to do this by Luli. Luli was like a mountain suffocating Patriarch 4. Naturally, Patriarch 4 was overjoyed to hear the good news. In addition to that emperor-ranked soul search, the arrangements outside the mystic realm, those divine runes, those scouts, everything made the fourth elder think that this was really the Heavenly Emperor's sect secret base. He didn't expect it to be a trap. He didn't send any martial artists in because he was afraid of alerting the enemy. He was afraid that there would be martial artists inside, sealing the entrance. He didn't expect that his cleverness would backfire, and he fell in a Lu Li's trap. He forced himself to calm down. His brain worked quickly, and he soon understood. Lu Li's purpose was simple. He wanted to lure them in so that he could kill the warriors and powerful warriors outside. Since things had turned out this way, there was no point in being angry or regretful. What he needed to do now was to get out of here as soon as possible. If they could get out quickly, they might be able to work together with Patriarch 8 and kill Lu Li. Everyone split into two groups and search the surroundings to see if there are any exits. Forget it, let's just go together. The fourth elder did not discuss with the other powerhouses and directly gave the order. He wanted to split up, but on second thought, what if Lu Li was lying in ambush? The five of them might not be able to survive Lu Li's sneak attack. It was better to be careful. This mystic realm was pitch black and didn't have much light. There was black fog everywhere, and the temperature was very low. There were no flowers or trees in here, only some kind of black, greasy trees. The leaves must be poisonous. There were also some poisonous insects hiding in the woods. It was a horrifying sight. Of course, these poisonous insects were of no threat to them. The only thing that gave the fourth elder a headache was that the black fog here was made of some unknown material. It was actually able to weaken the probing of divine sense. Although he could still use it to probe, it was much more dangerous. The secret realm was vast. They had been flying for 4 days, but they still hadn't reached the end. Instead, they felt the secret realm was boundless, which made Patriarch 4 and the other patriarchs so frustrated. It had been days, and they hadn't found any exits. Even if they could get out, it would be dangerous outside. I just hope that Patriarch 8 and the other patriarchs are smart enough to stay together so that they don't get killed. The fourth elder sighed slightly. After flying for half a day, they entered a super huge mountain range. They sensed a tyrannical and powerful aura. There was a terrifying giant beast hiding in the mountain range, and its combat strength was not any weaker than theirs. Moo! Patriarch 4 waved his hand after some thoughts. It was not that he was afraid of the beast, but he was afraid that Lu Li was lurking around it. Once they started a fight with the beast, they would be vulnerable to Lu Li's sneak attacks. If some of them were killed, then none of them would survive. They flew for another couple of days and ran into 2 more powerful beasts. One of them was a beast of soul properties. Even from the distance, they could feel the terror of the beast. The beast was still chasing after them. Luckily, it was not as fast as them, or else they would have to put up a tough fight. They had been flying for 10 days, and they had searched the entire place. But they found nothing. They didn't find any exits. Patriarch 4 and the other patriarchs analyzed. Either there were no exits, or the exits were close to the 3 powerful beasts. Patriarch 4 speculated that there were no exits. Since Lu Li had planned this, he must be trying to trap them here. In this way, they could better deal with the armies and powerful warriors outside. If there were exits, then Lu Li's plan would be pointless. What was more, even if there were exits, Lu Li and the others wouldn't be able to come in when they were close to the 3 powerful beasts. Human warriors might not be able to detect Lu Li's whereabouts, but the beasts must be more sensitive. They might be able to find Lu Li's whereabouts. Blast open the spatial barrier. Patriarch 4 made up his mind. He decided to use the dumbest method, which was to blast open the spatial barrier of the secret realm and then rush out into the endless void. Then they could find the endless ruins in the endless void. It would take some time, but it was the only way out. Boom! The fourth elder waved his hand, and the 5 experts unleashed a barrage of attacks at a certain spot, tearing a huge spatial crack. Next, the spatial crack turned into a black hole. Black holes were not necessarily spatial passageways. They had to keep on blasting at the black holes until the spatial barrier was broken. In a huge mountain range millions of kilometers away, right under the eyes of a giant beast, a light flashed in a cave, and then a figure flashed out. As soon as Luli came out, he went into hiding. The huge beast sensed something and stood up. However, after Luli released the traceless way, the beast could not sense him anymore. The beast turned around and lay down again. Making sure that the beast did not notice him, Luli was relieved. He drifted out like a ghost and began to search for Patriarch 4. Lord Li and the 2,000 warriors of the Sixth Tribulation were all in his interspatial artifact. As soon as he found Patriarch 4 and found out what was going on, he could take action. Master 3. Chapter 3573. It took Luli half a month to get a clear picture of the situation, including the locations of the 3 powerful Beast Kings and Patriarch 4. When Luli noticed that Patriarch 4 was breaking down spatial barriers, he almost laughed out loud. What a perfect time, place, and people. What was more, Patriarch 4 was about the same distance from the 3 Beast Kings. If they were lucky, they could lure the 3 beasts over at the same time. By then, Luli and Patriarch 4 would be in big trouble. Luli checked again and drew 3 maps. He marked them in detail and then let out all the warriors and gave them orders. Each of the 3 groups was led by a Saint King. Luli's orders were to bring the 3 Beast Kings to the 4th Elder side in 3 days, no matter what the cost. Luli's order meant that countless warriors would die one after another. The 6 Tribulation warriors were not fast enough, and the beasts would catch up with them soon. Therefore, if they wanted to lure the 3 beasts to Patriarch 4, they would have to sacrifice their lives. When one died, the second would take over. Each of them would lure the 3 beasts to the designated location. Don't worry, Lu Huang. The 3 Saint Emperors patted their chests and said, "We will complete the mission. If all of them are dead, then we will go up. Please, guys." Luli bowed, and so did Lord Li and the other 3. With tears in his eyes, Lord Li choked and said, "Don't worry, your families. As long as I am alive, I will not let them suffer any grievances. Your names will be recorded in the history of the endless ruins and will be worshipped by future generations." The thousands of martial artists all grinned. Although some of them were trembling in fear, the fiery light in their eyes was very dazzling. To die for all the people of the endless ruins was the most glorious moment of their lives. "Let's go." Luli waved his hand, and the 3 teams set off. Luli led Lord Li and the others toward Patriarch 4. It only took them half a day to get to Patriarch 4. They didn't go closer, but hid in the distance. Boom, 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 boom. Patriarch 4 was still attacking the spatial barrier. It would take at least 1 or 2 months for the barrier to be completely opened. Therefore, Luli and Lord Li were not in a hurry. They were just a little worried that the 3 teams would not be able to bring the 3 ferocious Beast Kings on time. If they couldn't bring it, or if there was a difference in time, then there would be some trouble. At the very least, the operation wouldn't be perfect. The attack of the 3 vicious Beast Kings would cause the 4th Elder and the others to be flustered. If they stopped attacking the spatial barrier, all their previous efforts would be in vain. If they continued to attack, the 3 kings of ferocious beasts would bring them more trouble. When they fought against the kings of ferocious beasts, Lord Li and the others would attack, and Luli would sneak up on them. Everything would be easier. Time passed by day after day. Luli, on the other hand, remained calm. There was no change in his emotions. Lord Li and the others, however, were very anxious, sending out their divine senses from time to time. If 1 or 2 teams arrived early, what would happen then? Should he continue to lead the Beast King in circles? Or should I bring him there directly? No matter what, it was not a good thing. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days passed. Lord Li and the others could not sit still any longer. They went out to check. An hour later, Lord Li came back first. He said with excitement, "Luli, 2 Beast Kings are here. They are about the same time. One of them is late by an hour." "Good." Luli nodded. 3 different teams were coming from 3 different places, and they were luring 3 different beast kings. There was only an hour's difference. This was almost perfect. Without any hesitation, Lu Li ordered, "Tell them to lure the 2 beast kings over. Also, you go into hiding. I will go first. I will crush the Jade Talisman, and you will come out at once. Be careful. Don't think about killing their powerful warriors. Your task is to separate them as much as possible and stall them. As long as you can separate them, it will be easy for me to kill them." "Yes, sir." Lord Li nodded in excitement. Then, he left with several powerful warriors. Lu Li released the Traceless Way at once and sneaked over to where Patriarch 4 was. 4 of Patriarch 4's powerful warriors were attacking the barrier, while the other 6 were sitting on the side. They had set up some divine glyphs nearby. All of them were warning divine glyphs. They were well hidden in case Lu Li would sneak up on them. Lu Li was not good at divine glyphs, but Blood Fairy was. She could pass on her knowledge of divine glyphs to Lu Li. Lu Li did not need to study the divine glyphs. He only needed to know how to see through them. Therefore, Lu Li was very good at appreciating divine glyphs. He could see through the low-level divine glyphs at one glance. He did not get too close. Instead, he stopped at the peak of a small mountain hundreds of miles away and waited quietly. The 3 Beast Kings would have a fierce fight with Patriarch 4. Lu Li did not want to get involved right from the start. He would mediate when the fight was almost over. Roar! An hour later, from the east came a loud roar. Following that, a surge of horrifying energy woke up Patriarch 4 and the others. The 4th Elder and a group of experts immediately stood up and looked towards the east with vigilance. Roar! Another deafening roar rang out. Next, a black silhouette flew over at high speed. Following behind the black silhouette was a 10,000 zhang long gigantic beast. Patriarch 4 and the others took a look. Suddenly, they had a bad feeling about this. They all knew this beast. It was the king of beasts at the east. That king of beasts was tens of millions of miles away. How come was here? It seemed that the king of beasts was chasing after a warrior. But that warrior was only at the 6th tribulation realm. How could he survive such a long distance? Phew. That beast breathed out a gray airstream. The warrior in front of the beast was enveloped by the airstream. Following a miserable cry, the warrior was reduced to bones. He died instantly. Boom, boom, boom. But suddenly, another warrior emerged from the mountain next to them and launched 3 consecutive attacks at the giant beast. Then, he turned his head and rushed towards the 4th Elder and the others. Patriarch 4 and the others would be idiots if they still could not understand what was going on. Here comes Lu Li's backup plan. Patriarch 4 murmured, as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Even though it was only a king of beasts, Patriarch 4 believed that Lu Li's other plans would come soon. A battle of life and death was about to begin. Chirp, chirp! From the west came a shrill cry of birds. Then, a rock that looked like a super battleship flew over. In front of the rock was a dark shadow. That dark shadow was a warrior at the 6th tribulation. His eyes were filled with madness and pleasure. The rock breathed out blue flames, but he didn't dodge. Instead, he laughed and said, "Bastards of the rhinoceros ape race and the 3 alien races, your good days are over." Phew. This cultivator was swallowed up by the flames. The rock's cold eyes locked onto the 4th Elder and the others. It flapped its wings and flew towards them at high speed. It hadn't even gotten close to them when the rock's baleful aura spread out, causing the 4th Elder and the others to feel suffocated. Chapter 3574. Lu Li's plan was successful. The 2 Beast Kings arrived at the battlefield almost at the same time and joined the fight. Patriarch 4 didn't run away. Now that Lu Li had set up the plan, Patriarch 4 could not run away. Even if Patriarch 4 could run away this time, could he do it again? What was more, once he ran away, the team would be lengthened due to the different speeds of the 10 powerful warriors. Those at the back would be attacked by Lu Li. By then, half of them would die. Once half of them died, it wouldn't make a difference whether they ran away or not. The final outcome would be death. Therefore, Patriarch 4 decided to fight to the death after a moment of consideration. He wanted to see if he could find a chance to kill Lu Li. As long as Lu Li was dead, everything would be fine. The mission would be accomplished. His deceased warriors could rest in peace, and he would have something to report to when he went back. Stop it! Patriarch 4 shouted. The several powerful warriors that were attacking the spatial barrier stopped. One of them said, "If we stop, all our efforts over the past few days will be in vain." All our efforts will be in vain? Patriarch 4 sneered and said, "If you go on like this, we will all be dead bodies. What's the point of doing that?" With that said, Patriarch 4 flew up toward the huge rock. He told the 5 patriarchs, "Don't move. Keep an eye on the surroundings. The rest of you, attack the beasts. Remember, don't be more than 300 miles away from each other." Patriarch 4 was the backbone of all the powerful warriors. The other powerful warriors didn't know what to do. They had to follow Patriarch 4's orders blindly. 2 powerful warriors dashed toward the beast to the east, and one went to help Patriarch 4. The other 6 stayed put and kept an eye on the surroundings, looking for Lu Li. These 2 ferocious beasts were very strong. Their defenses were especially perverse. When the 2 supreme experts rushed forward, they managed to suppress the 2 ferocious beast kings in an instant. That being said, to kill the 2 beast kings would be troublesome. It would take time. Patriarch 4 and the others were not in a hurry. They weren't even in a hurry to kill the 2 beasts. They pretended to be focused on the beasts, but they had been checking the surroundings, looking for Lu Li. Patriarch 4's strategy was right. As long as Lu Li could be killed, nothing else would be a problem. All the problems would be solved. Why did Lu Li set all these traps? Wasn't it because he didn't have the absolute strength to suppress them head-on? He did not dare to fight head-on. In other words, he could easily be killed by the 4th elder and the others if he fought head-on. That was why he had to make arrangements and borrow all kinds of external forces. The most horrifying thing about Lu Li was that he had an incredible stealth skill. As long as he showed himself, he would not be so scary. Patriarch 4 and 2 other patriarchs were attacking together. He was absolutely sure that they could kill Lu Li within seconds. Therefore, he was not in a hurry to kill the 2 beasts. How could he lure Lu Li out if he killed the 2 beasts? Time moved on. What surprised Patriarch 4 was that Lu Li never showed up. After an hour, the 2 beasts were already covered with wounds. Why didn't Lu Li do anything? Patriarch 4 was confused. Was Lu Li not here? If this was Lu Li's plan, why didn't he take any actions? With the death of the 2 beasts, Lu Li would lose one of his means. An hour later, a martial artist rushed over from the north. Just as he was halfway there, his body stopped, and then he directly fell to the ground. Patriarch 4 and the others checked with psychic power. The man's soul had collapsed. From the north, a dark monster flew over. It was not large in size, and it only had one eye. The eye glowed in a blue light, which was quite horrifying. Patriarch 4 narrowed his eyes. This was the 3rd Beast King, and it was a soul beast of the soul type, which was the most horrifying. Patriarch 4 was nervous. If the soul beasts were coming, then Lu Li would take action as well. The crucial battle was about to begin. Whether they lived or died would depend on this battle. Patriarch 4 ordered at once, "Bloodrock Master, you 3 go and deal with the soul beasts. If you can't kill them." There were 6 powerful warriors left. 3 of them went to fight the soul beasts, and the other 3 could be reinforcements. If Lu Li came out, the 3 of them could hold on for a while, and then the others could kill Lu Li. That being said, it was dangerous. Patriarch 4 sent a message to the other powerful warriors. "Hurry up and kill the 2 beasts. We cannot waste any more time." 4th Elder was feeling a little regretful at this moment. If he had known that there would be a 3rd king of beasts, he would have killed these 2 kings of beasts. He had thought that only 2 beast kings would come, and the 3rd one would not be able to be lured away. Otherwise, it would have come a long time ago. However, he didn't expect that an hour later, the 3rd vicious beast king would still come. Charge! Right at that moment, 4 people came from the west. The one in the lead was lordly. The bamboo hat he was wearing was eye-catching. Of the several powerful warriors that were close to the consummate realm, Patriarch 4 had information on 2 of them. The other one should be a newcomer. Luli had used his second move. Luli must be hiding nearby. Patriarch 4 knew that the most critical moment had come. Luli was about to show up. Whether they could kill Luli or not depended on this moment. Patriarch 4 told the 3 powerful warriors in charge to deal with Lord Li and the others while he attacked the dying beast with all his might. At the same time, he tried to sense the surroundings to look for Luli. At the same time, Patriarch 4 sent a message to the powerful warriors that were fighting the beasts nearby, telling them to get ready. As soon as Luli showed up, they should leave the beasts alone. As long as they could kill Luli in one move, they would have the upper hand. East. All of a sudden, Patriarch 4 sensed something. He noticed a man sneaking over from the east like a ghost. Leaving the rock behind, Patriarch 4 shouted, "Luli, go to hell." Patriarch 4 dashed over like a sharp sword. The other 3 powerful warriors gave up on attacking the beasts and dashed toward the shadow as well. The shadow seemed to be an illusion. Hidden as it was spotted by the powerful warriors. Boom, boom, boom. The 4 powerful warriors released their most powerful attacks at the shadow. A mountain was blasted into a pit. The shadow disappeared as well, as if it had been smashed into pieces. Ow. Patriarch 4 and the others were confused. They didn't think the shadow was Luli. Was it just an illusion? Not his real body. Otherwise, why wasn't there a drop of blood when it was smashed into pieces? Patriarch 4, help me. Luli is over here. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream and 2 angry roars rang out. The 4th elder and the others suddenly woke up and turned around, only to find that the 3 experts who had attacked Lordly had all been hit. One had died instantly, and the other 2's bodies were corroding at a terrifying speed. It seemed that they would not survive. At this moment, Lordly flashed and disappeared in midair without a trace. It was obvious that this Lordly was Lu Li's impersonation. Bang! On the other side, a powerful warrior that went to attack the soul beast suddenly fell to the ground. His eyes rolled over and his soul was still. Clearly, he had been hit by the soul beast's special skill. Even if he could survive, his soul must have been seriously injured. In one move, they had lost 4 powerful warriors. Patriarch 4 put on a bitter smile. Luli was more skilled. Patriarch 4 had lost this fight. Apex. Chapter 3575. Luli had planned to let Lordly do the work, and then he would sneak up on them. Later on, he noticed that Patriarch 4 had been on guard, looking for him. Therefore, Luli changed his strategy. He pretended to be Lordly and asked Lordly to hide in the distance. Then, Lordly released a shadow to disguise as Luli. This was a good result. Patriarch 4 and the others had the preconceived notion that Lordly was just trying to distract them and that the real Luli would sneak up on them. Never did they know that Lordly was Luli in disguise and that this was the real deal. Truth and falsehood. Truth and falsehood. Luli had utilized his skills of assassination to the extreme. He killed 3 powerful warriors, and that King of Soul Beast was very helpful as well. It helped to wound another powerful warrior. The situation had been stabilized. After Li went into hiding, he sent a message to the 3 powerful warriors with him. He told them to adapt to the situation and not to act rashly. Their priority was to stay alive and distract the enemies. They didn't have to kill the enemies, only to stall the enemies. At the same time, Luli sent a message to Lordly, telling him to stall the enemies and create a chance for Luli. The powerful warriors of the Rhino Apes and the other 3 alien races were complaining. They were still being stalled by the 3 Beast Kings. The 2 Beast Kings in particular had been badly wounded. They were attacking the warriors in a frenzy. They couldn't run away even if they wanted to. They had to fight the beasts while keeping an eye out for Luli. Soon, Luli took actions. He appeared behind a powerful warrior and released flames. The warrior was devoured by the flames, and Luli left at once. Those who were devoured by the flames would be badly wounded even if they survived. Therefore, there was no need to worry about them. Run! Patriarch 4 was trying to find a chance to kill Luli, but Luli was gone so fast that Patriarch 4 didn't have a chance to do so. Patriarch 4 knew that the situation was hopeless. If they didn't run, they would all die here. As he flew, he transmitted his voice. There must be an exit near the territory of the 3 ferocious beast kings. Everyone, run for your lives. If you can escape, immediately leave the endless ruins of gods and report to the clan king. The 4th elder turned into a beam of light and flew away. His reaction speed was fast, but the rest of the experts did not have the luck to escape. Lord Li and the others were restraining them, and with the attacks of the Beast King, how could they escape? Luli made 2 moves in a row, killing 2 more powerful warriors and burning 2 Beast Kings to death. The 2 kings of ferocious beasts had been wounded. They had lost their minds and were attacking Lord Li and the others. Luli had to kill them, for had died, and now 3 more. Apart from Patriarch 4 who had run away, there were only 2 powerful warriors left. Luli didn't worry about them. He used some divine liquid of perdition to kill the Soul Beast King. Then, he sneaked away and flew toward the entrance. That was where Patriarch 4 was heading. Even though Blood Fairy had built some runes to seal off the entrance, Luli might not be able to stop Patriarch 4. Therefore, he left the last 2 supreme experts to Lord Li and the other 3. If the 4 of them could not kill the 2, Lord Li and the others would be too useless. Luli flew toward the entrance as fast as he could. He was faster than a warrior that was infinitely close to the consummate realm. However, he was still slower than the 4th elder. By the time he reached the entrance, the 4th elder was already attacking the divine inscriptions at the entrance. Not bad. Seeing that the divine inscriptions were still intact, Luli grinned. He flew over and took out the Gong Huangding in his hand. The Gong Huangding flew over quickly and expanded in the wind. The Gong Huangding glowed and fell down. Patriarch 4 was suppressed. When Patriarch 4 saw the Gong Huangding, he knew he was doomed. He didn't struggle. Instead, he was relieved. He had been under too much pressure. Now that he was about to die, he felt relieved. Luli came out. He was cautious. He didn't get too close. Instead, he stayed 2 miles away from Patriarch 4. Instead of attacking Patriarch 4, Luli asked coldly, "What is your position in the rhinoceros race?" Patriarch 4 could not move, and it was difficult for him to speak. He replied, "Fight or kill me if you want. Luli, you are a man of your stature. You don't have to humiliate me." "I don't mean to humiliate you," Luli said coldly. "You must be the leader of the rhinoceros race this time, right? If I am not mistaken, you rank high among the patriarchs of the rhinoceros race." Seeing that Luli didn't want to humiliate him, Patriarch 4 replied, "I am number 4. Luli, make it quick. I don't want to kill you." Patriarch 4 was confused by Luli's words. Luli continued, "I don't even want to kill the powerful warriors of the rhinoceros race outside. Of course, all the powerful warriors of the 3 races must die. I have said it before. I have no intention of making enemies of the rhinoceros race. I am indebted to the celestial emperor's sect in the infinite ruins of gods. I'm only protecting the infinite ruins of gods. If you insist on attacking, I will have to fight. I can let you go back if you promise me one thing." Oh, the 4th elder's eyes flickered and his heart was slightly moved. Nobody wanted to die. If he could go back alive, that would be more than what he wanted. Promise? As long as it was not too much, he could promise anything. He could go back alive and then ask their family patriarch to kill Luli. Promises meant nothing to him. After a moment of silence, Patriarch 4 asked, "What is it?" "Tell me," Luli said coldly. "I want you to kneel on the ground, kowtow to me, and apologize. You must swear that you will never be my enemy again. Otherwise, the rhinoceros race will be destroyed by the other races." "You wish." Patriarch 4 flew into a rage. Luli was here to humiliate him. Patriarch 4 had no intention of letting him go. Patriarch 4 said angrily, "Luli, do you think I'm a 3-year-old? I will kneel to you, and then you will kill me? This old man has never seen such a shameless person." "I, Luli, am a man of my words, and I will do what I say. Luli said seriously. I can make an almighty oath. As long as you do as I say, if I don't let you go back, I will be struck to death by lightning. Patriarch 4 was surprised. Was Luli serious? Kneeling and kowtowing to apologize was shameful, but there were no outsiders here. It was okay to do so. Even though it would affect his state of mind, he knew very well that he would never have the chance to make the breakthrough in this lifetime. Patriarch 4's expressions changed. In the end, he made up his mind and said, "Fine, Luli, make an almighty oath, and I will kneel and kowtow to you." Without any hesitation, Luli made up his mind. Then he took back the gong huangding and put it in front of him. In this way, if Patriarch 4 were to attack him, he could use the gong huangding to defend himself. Luli could go into hiding and then kill Patriarch 4. Patriarch 4 thought about attacking Luli as well, but he gave up when he saw the gong huangding. He made up his mind, dropped to his knees, and kowtowed to Luli and repeated what Luli said. "Very good," Luli said coldly. "Get lost. From now on, if the rhinoceros race dares to go against me again, I will destroy the rhinoceros race." Apex, that you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.